Hello, the world of their internet. How's it going? Darth Sean, are you available? Are you on? Are you alive?
I'm here. I'm
there
here.
we
I'm
go.
here.
There we go. And tonight we have a special guest. Very, very special guest. That special guest is the ghost of Jan van Riebeeck, some call him. Reb, good evening, good sir.
Good evening.
How are you, sir?
Well, I must say I'm a little bit disappointed because I was watching your show with Ronaldo and he got an epic, amazing introduction video with music and fireworks.
Come on, that was a cool one. It's Africa, the Great Heart. Come on, that was a cool song. Okay, next time I'm going to make you a Kif intro. All right, I promise.
Okay, my friend, that sounds good.
Anyways, how are you doing, Reb? How is the weather there on your side? It's like summer, isn't it?
It's summer, but it's European summer, so it's rainy and it's grey today. And it seems we go from very cold to extremely hot and humid. But yeah, it's not too bad.
Okay, that's Kif. That's Kif.
And you guys, are you freezing? Is it 12 or 13 degrees?
What is it now? God, it is.
Fucking cold weather.
We call that dry weather up here. But I
mean, listen,
from South African days, that's cold.
-5 is dry weather. That's not even really an argument. Any weather, if you're South African, is dry weather. There's no have you ever heard Afrikaner go, listen, it's too, I don't know, whatever outside, and we can't braai. Never, bro. Never. That'll never happen. Ever.
No, they just put on a second pair of shorts and they're ready.
Second pair of shorts. No, it's like, what is it here? It's like 14, but dude, it feels like it's 8. It feels like, you feel it in your knees and your bones and stuff. Or maybe I'm just fucking old now. Damn it.
I've said this many times in South Africa. If it's 14 outside, then it's about 15 inside because the homes aren't built to keep heat inside. I think in other countries where the cold is worse, you get more insulation, so it keeps the house warm inside. So here, when it's winter and outside it's -10, -12, inside it'll be 20 degrees.
Yeah, but see, that's the thing. I remember going to Germany when it was winter that side. I remember seeing snowfall and all this, but that's the thing that like my brain just didn't like gel with, and I got sick, I think, the second day because like outside you're freezing, layers and stuff, and then you go inside and it's like 20 degrees and you're like, it's warm and like you're constantly, and I think 2 days of that, just going in and out of buildings, and I just got like sick as a dog because I'm not used to that sort of like, if it's cold everywhere because we don't have, central heating. What is that? We're just Afrikaners, bro. We're like, yeah, it's cold. It's fucking cold everywhere.
Exactly. There's somewhere I saw a chart showing in Europe, showing how long it takes for a house to lose like 10 degrees Celsius. Basically showing how good the insulation is. In places like the Netherlands and the UK, it's not as good as the more Germanic places. If you look at the walls of a Germanic house, Switzerland, Austria, Germany, it's thick, and the glass is all double glass. Whilst Netherlands, you have these thin little brick walls, and the UK has got these thin little brick walls as well. So it's especially the Germanics that like to build sturdy buildings that keep the heat in.
Actually, quite funny story. My uncle's into like a bit of construction and set building and this type of shit, and he got this book of how they used to build houses like back in the day in South Africa, and like everything from like the way that which way the house faces, the thickness of the thing, the spacing between if you've got one or two houses, and it was built with like double thick walls because of the heat, and that would just naturally cool the place. That's why like if you go like look at old houses in South Africa, even in summer, bro, it's like it's kef. No, you don't need air conditioning, nothing. It's just like a kef temperature inside because they knew how to build shit properly.
Yeah, good point.
Double insulated. Evening chat. We've got here, we've got Kev, we've got Matthew, Lindy with a D. I'm still worried about whether Lindy's maybe got like
double D, double D or single D.
Yeah, listen, it'll be a double D. Come on. Oh, I'm gonna get in trouble for that, aren't I?
Sexist fuck.
And if you don't have a double D, listen. You don't have to. Boobs. It's cool.
Mork, before we carry on.
Yeah, sorry.
You owe Chess Pain's instigator happy birthday and a flick of their hair. I have not forgotten.
Chess Pain, Charmaine, happy birthday! Look, I even cut my hair. Look, it's like smooth, super smooth. Look there. There we go, sexy. Yeah, baby. No, I just got to think of dye my hair. And someone actually asked in the beginning, do we have stripper chats yet? No. But as of Monday, we will have super chats. Yay! And I just want to say a big thank you to the Ronaldo and the Sec crew for helping us out and just being awesome. And like, just you guys just supporting the show and just even popping in, hanging out, just saying hello. It really, really, really like makes a difference, and it's really like it's so indicative of South Africans supporting other people. And it's like that's what you do. I just want to mention this one thing. I think I've said it before, but I remember this like years ago. Not years ago. Like I think it was just when Muesli My Money was still like head of the DA, and he posted something on X where he went like, yeah, like we really need to help like small businesses and shit like that. And then I was like going, yeah, that's a great idea, Muesli. And then I just went through his X feed. I think I scrolled the whole fucking day. And not one, like this is somebody who's got 3 million followers. Not one fucking time. Sorry, it's not 8 o'clock yet. Not one time did he ever share some random O's business, some dude that he's met, some guy on the street that's got a small business. Not one time did he do the due diligence and just share just take a photo of the guy's business, go, listen, this is a guy, this is a bakery, this is a dude that does this. Just share. You know what difference that could make to somebody like that? And I'm just going like, people just around doing this, just coming in, popping in, even if you don't dig the vibe, you just showed a bit of support, you did a follow. It means the world, and thank you very much to all of y'all.
Did you see today or recently there was some kind of small business promotion page shared something about a young white guy that does gardening work?
Yes. And I did.
The comments were predictable.
It frustrates the living fuck out of me, honestly. Like it just edges me. Like no one's stopping all the people bitching and complaining of doing the exact same thing to people. It's like somebody saw a guy trying and took a photo and went, listen, support this dude. And then people go, oh, you did, yeah, why? It's insanity.
Wait, what happened?
I'll try and find it. So there was just some dude, somebody just shared like some guy who does like lawn mowing, like a lawnmower service, and it was in Krugersdorp, if I'm correct, Rip.
I can't remember where.
Yeah, it was Krugersdorp, but just the comments were it was just like really.
So what was the issue?
Well, it's because obviously, what do you think the issue is in South Africa, Dr.
The guy was white? Is that why?
Ah, there we go. 1 million awesome points for you for guessing. Typical. You tense spoon. Good evening, good sir. Amy's also in the house. Hi, Amy. Long time. Well, not actually a long time. You were like a little while ago. Yeah. I mean, God. Do we want to get into this straight away, or should we build up to this? To the whole like.
What is the worst part? Maybe... Like, can we?
No, it's not the worst part. I found it. This is like I saw a lot of people watch this thing with the Piers Morgan thing. And they walked away going like, well, they're upset. And I'm going like, I laughed, bro. To me, it was watching Idiocracy. So maybe we can get to that now. I think one of the big stories that happened in the news was Floyd Shibambu got fired. Yeah, that's kind of all we have on that one.
That's it.
That's literally it. Floyd got fired. What a Todd. There we go. Done. That story's ticked off.
I did see some. I saw a clip today where he said he would never apologize, and it was one of those like few moments later, he's apologizing for what he did.
No, but it's just also it's really funny. It's this dude who's like through EFF through and through the party and and like at the drop of it, was it like 3 days later, like 4 days after the election, he's like, no, I'm switching to the MK now. And it's like, oh, are you? Okay, so much for your allegiances and shit. And then like, and then he goes and does.
Thing, though. When I play Call of Duty and I see my team's losing, I switch sides to win.
I mean, it's just like these. I don't know, man. I know South African politicians. I think since the GNU, I've got a whole different perspective on like South African politicians. And I mean, I don't know. You weren't there, but like I was on Friday night. I was listening to Rib had a space on X, and he had Jack Miller there, and who else was there? Robert. I forget his name.
Dugan.
What? Yeah, he was.
Dugan.
Wait, sorry, I just want to ask a quick question. Does anybody? Is it because sometimes while we're doing a live thing, I can hear a little bit of audio issue with Rib, but I don't think anybody else hears it. So I just want to double check. Everybody else, like Rib's audio is fine, right? Gav?
So I hear it.
I think it should be fine. Yeah, no, because I noticed it the other night when we were talking to Spoon. Like sometimes there's a glitch in the audio, but then when I went rewatched it, it's like the audio is completely smooth. So I think it's just for us because there's a sort of a little bit of a delay as it streams, so it compresses that and makes kiff as it goes out. But I just wanted to double check. Yes, I can hear it.
I think it's beard interference. Beard interference with the earbuds.
Gadget says he can hear it a little bit. It's just like a little audio glitch, but it's still okay. I mean, it's fine. It's totally cool. Yeah, I can hear it. It's
Matthew,
like a slight glitch.
What am I doing to frogs?
What? Yeah, dude, it does. It sounds like a ribbit, which is weird. A rib, because like every now and again while you're talking, it goes real. It's almost like the audio, because the audio is going through the undersea cable, and it's like it hits like maybe it's flooding a little bit. It just hits that DJ,
just like pulling the.
Yeah, it feels like it's going through water or something, like a little like a frog vibe. Like, but it's I mean it's because you're far away and like we don't have
I
that
think it's
ANC.
I think ANC intelligence tries to listen to whatever I do. So you might hear someone say "aish" or something.
Because it's weird though, because I was thinking about it like because I remember from last time we heard it as well. So I actually went back this morning and checked the previous stream, and I was like, I watched the stream and I was just like, it's not there. It just doesn't exist, which is weird. Clean to your ears.
Maybe it's because it's live.
Yeah, I think it's because it's live. I think afterwards it does like an audio compression or something. But I think it's fine. You got, pulling an anti-Alex Jones joke with the frogs. Anti-Alex with the frogs. Wait, what did I want to say about this whole EFF thing? Oh, wait, sorry. The whole idea just went. So on Rib's show on Friday, on his like space with Robert was on there. Bro, like the fact that what Alex and Robert unpacked about the DA, kind of like, we need to let more people know about that. That was to me, it was probably I missed the middle bit because I had to go do pizza dinner and roll out pizzas and crap. But like dude, like Robert is a wealth of knowledge. That dude, bro. Honestly, every time I listen to him, it's just like jeez. I mean, this guy is well read, seriously well read. Especially when it comes to South African politics.
I think people often miss the point on Cape Independence that they think, no, it's not practical, it'll never happen. It doesn't matter if it never happens. It's someone that speaks against DA power, that stands up to the DA and DA overreach. And it's a party that promotes local power, more localization of influence as opposed to nationalized influence, which I think is a good thing. We should have more localized influence. So, I mean, I know the chances of Cape Independence actually happening is pretty much zero, but I think it's a good thing that these guys are making some noise around certain issues.
Yeah, I mean, the thing that like stood out to me. I mean, the thing that stands out to me that I understood about the whole Cape Independence thing is like, is the whole argument of, because I used to have this argument like, how do you overthrow or how do you change the government, right? If you have hypothetical, or like not hypothetical, like we do in South Africa, you've got a massive ANC base, right? Huge, and it's like a lot of poor people. They're dependent. I mean, like just think about if everybody that was on SASSA grants, not saying they are, hypothetically, if everybody on SASSA grants were voting ANC, which is like it's a logical reasoning to think that, because the ANC is providing them free money, right? 28 million people, hypothetically, most of them are voting for the ANC. How would you overthrow them? Like the only argument I used to have would be like a tax revolt, right? But then when you consider like the idea of PAYE, that the ANC long ago tried to think of how they can stop you from doing that. Like Cape independence is not such a far-fetched idea. It's almost the most rational idea of like, because you're never going to be able to vote out 80% of the country or 90% of the country. If they, I think Rib dropped off. I think, why is blurping? No, it's actually it's Rib. Rib's got like I think he's just got a bit of a. There we go. Rib's
so
back.
Don't blame me.
I'm not blaming. Spoon is blaming you.
What the hell, Spoon? I missed your sulky voice, Spoon. I need to admit it. Like, I need you to read me Harry Potter.
How's your audio, Rib?
Perfect, thanks. I just lost you guys for a second.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, it's totally fine now. It's like you don't see every now and again we hear the frog, but it's. Are you connected via your phone or like a laptop?
Phone and a Wi-Fi extender.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, that's fine. I think it sounds super much better now. So yeah, I was just saying that the.
Sorry, the Wi-Fi router is down in the cellar of the castle, and I'm in one of the towers, so it's. I need to use extenders.
I've got the same thing. I've got like 2 extenders, just because it's when they installed it, it was like on the one side of the house, and I've got like one in the middle of the house and one at the end of the house.
It can be irritating to live in a castle, but it really helps if News 24 reporters try and reach you. There's a moat and a wall.
I mean, I know there's someone in the chat that already loves this idea of you living in a castle, right, Spoon? There we go. Yeah, no, your audio sounds great now. Yeah, sorry, I was saying the whole thing was like the thing with Cape Independence is I think it's the almost like the most practical, rational way of being able to get out of ANC control. Like it seems the most rational. How else would you possibly do that? There's no way that we'd ever be able to vote ourselves out of it. I just don't think that's a possibility. It'll take generations.
Even if we can't get completely away from ANC control, less ANC control is a good thing.
Yeah.
And if you look at different countries in the world, there's no reason that South Africa has to have everything governed by one central party. There's many countries where it's decentralized and it works better.
No, I totally agree with you. I mean, this is the thing. This is like I was very, I was like, okay, cool. Listen, the whole thing with the GNU. Listen, I don't care. The DA does not represent like, anywhere close to what I would like in a political party, right? But they're like, it's just basically math going like vote for the strongest opposition. I don't want them in power. I just want anybody in power. I mean, I would even go, listen, just if we can just get into the structure, into the habit of just changing power by voting, like, okay, cool. So let's get the EFF in. Fine. Let's get then after them. Once we can overthrow the ANC, then I'm thinking, this is my rationale, just going like, then we're able to get someone else in. But I don't think it's going to happen. The closest we've been able to do is now do this thing where we've got like, we've got a GNU where they're sharing power. I think this is still better than one party ruling. The issue I have is just the ANC, the DA is just basically bent knee to every single thing over and over and over again.
Yeah, I think I've been starting to call the DA the gay NC because, what are they doing? That McPherson guy now recently supported expropriation without compensation, saying all payment is payment. What are these guys doing?
No, dude, I have no idea. I mean, like everything's just gone out the window. And then like I used to remember people going, well, like Chess Pains just said it. No. they're part of the, WEF. And I'm going like, yeah, yeah, maybe not, like, okay, cool. But like now I'm going, yeah, they're literally just, I can't argue that they're not. They're literally not doing shit. They're not really helping. None of the policies that they stood on, they're supporting. They're just back down on everything. You're going like, listen, the Minister of Agriculture, okay, cool. Like maybe you're gonna like pipe up and say something about the expropriation, but nothing. Like just zero. John Steenhuisen is just going, like he's gotten fat. I'm going, like, oh, there we go. Power corrupts. Just feeding at the trough.
It's actually, I feel it's even worse than that, because they got into power and they're doing administrative work and they're making the trains run on time and making the ANC function and work properly. They're holding up the ANC.
True.
If they weren't in government, the ANC would continue its downward spiral and eventually be replaced. But they're kind of enabling the ANC by doing their jobs properly and not pushing back on ideology, which they actually should be doing, but they're not.
Yeah. No, you raised. I mean, that's just basic, like child rearing, right? It's like that's the basic, like, cool. Like you let your child fall in order for him to learn. Like if the ANC never like falls, I mean, like unfortunately, that is the only solution. The only solution for people on the ground who are like going, oh, it's just like is for SASSA grants to completely dry up. Yes, we're all going to get affected, but that's the only way forward, right? I mean, there is no other way.
Yeah, the DA has now become life support for the ANC, and just keeping them alive and afloat and making them look good. And it's a real problem.
Sorry, I just want to checking some of the chats.
Yeah, I was going to say there's a few good comments.
Lindy says, but they wanted the Cape Independents to have a cultural group living together and making their own decisions on policy. They realize how many Muslims living? Yeah, that is also a valid point that you raise. I mean, the thing is, I've heard the arguments from Cape Independents like during the election. I just think they shouldn't have confused the two. They shouldn't have done it during the election. Like, the governmental election, the whole vote to get annexed from, the rest of the area shouldn't have happened during the election, or they shouldn't become a political party. They should have just should have a random vote nowhere near the election, and that would have kind of got diluted by them being involved, being a political party. Because I think a lot of people, I remember, like, I think it was the day of the election, standing in the queue, and there was a dude in front of me, and I heard them talking, and they're going, have you heard about these idiots who want to vote Cape Town out through this election? It's like, but no, that wasn't what they were doing. They were just trying to get more support for their party at the time, or the thing. And it's just like it was very confusing, it happening in and around that time, just from someone who's not like just your average citizen going like, what, Cape Independence? Yeah, it sounds like a cool idea.
Yeah, and I think there's also something that's going on where there's boogeyman tactics, where
of course
the DA are so afraid that EFF and MK come in that they just allow anything the ANC wants. So the ANC have got this boogeyman that's the EFF, and they use that as leverage and get away with everything. And I mean, it could be that there's really a disagreement between the ANC and the EFF, but it could also be that the ANC is really happy to have the EFF because it makes them look good and it makes them get away with a lot. It's the same thing the DA is doing in the Cape. Is the ANC is the boogeyman there, so don't criticize the DA, because otherwise the boogeyman might come in. So just support everything we do. Don't criticize us, and they get away with it.
No, but dude, what you're saying is 100% correct. After chatting to Ronaldo and him explaining like the background of just like you'd imagine, listen, like these people are shouting, telling each other to get screwed and and all the shit like but it's all show. And then they're buddy buddy hanging out, hugging each other, being kiff, and it's going like, okay, wait, so is it a show? Like you're just being, I don't know. It feels like if somebody is completely against my views, I'm willing to have just be measured with them. But like these people are calling for your death. they like, why would I be friendly to Julius Malema if he's standing there going like, the people that I represent, you want to kill them? And you're going, oh, not really. I'm just saying it. But it's like you're egging people on to do so. So it's like, I'm not going to be measured or reasonable with you. I'm fucking not. Like, just no way. I'm not going to go hang out and go, how's it? And going like, I'll just go get fucked if I'm getting lunch and he's next to me. Like, I just go piss off. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%, because it's all for show. It's all for the public. It's every single thing they do, they consider what the public perception will be and the repercussions will be. Which, if you think about a thing like farm murders, the ANC has not once said farm murders are bad. We need to stop farm murders. Farmers are crucial. Don't hate on white people. White people are your fellow citizens. They never say anything in support of farmers or anything positive towards white people. And that's not an accident. They could very easily come out and say there was a horrific farm murder on the weekend and we need to do more to stop this. We are dependent on these people. The fact that they don't talk against it and they don't talk about the Kill the Farmer song, they don't talk about these things, there's a reason. Their silence actually speaks more than anything else.
No, exactly. It does. I mean, it's like, I mean, I just don't understand. It's like the argument behind it is it that they're scared of losing? I mean, the rational reasoning behind it is like they must be scared of losing following if they have to come out and support it, because that's the only rational reason that I could think about. That's the only thing that's possibility of why they would not go listen. Singing this is wrong. I mean, it's like the thing that bothers the fuck out of me is the following: is like, in the history of the world, right? This is just like, we've just like, why is anti-Semitism wrong? Why is all these things wrong? Because hate leads to discrimination, which leads to X, which leads to violence. Okay, this is true for everything, from going like, oh well, you shouldn't say hateful things about women because other people will hear it. This is like argument they have against like people like Andrew Tate. Well, the same thing with anti-Semitism, the same thing with homophobia, the same thing with xenophobia. They come out like, listen, you don't say mean things about foreigners here because it causes, and then we've measured this throughout history. It all always relates and ends up in violence. But somehow, when you're singing songs about killing white people, it somehow doesn't correlate to that. Why is just the logic is broken? It's Todd logic, right?
Yeah, so I think the one reason could be that they don't care, which I think is a generous way of assessing it. A really black pill version or assessment would be that they actually support the persecution of these people. They feel like they might not be actively participating or telling people to do it, but maybe they're kind of okay with it, that farmers want to leave, that farmers want to get rid of their farms, that farmers are having a tough time because they want the land. And I mean, Ramaphosa has said recently that we need to solve the land issue for our people. I mean, this rhetoric you see it all over the place. So, I mean, also in the White House, when they played Malema's chants, and all of the ANC delegates were sitting there smiling. Yeah. This is a serious issue. You're talking about genocide in front of the world, and you're sitting there smiling. You think it's funny that Malema is saying these things and that the world is seeing it. So I think that they either don't care or they're kind of okay with it.
I think they're not just okay with it. I think they really want it. I think you shared, like, I think after you shared the whole vibe with that conversation that Jack was on with the virtue signaling black leftist who had him on his show, and then like he had all these guests come up and ask him questions, and then the one dude, you pointed this out, the guy who's an advocate, Isaac something. Bro,
Isaac Malubadze.
Bro, after listening to that guy, I'm going like, okay, Like you people are absolutely nuts. Yes, I said you people. The people that have that belief is absolutely fucking insane, right? It's like it just makes no logical sense. It's like every single time, and this is like I keep seeing this. You probably have this. I've seen this on your tweets today. I was like, I think there was something you posted, and I was seeing these tweets. People going like, "Well, you have done this to me. You have to own up to the violence that somebody committed that happens to look like you from a fucking 100 years ago, or like 80 years ago, or 60 years ago." It's like, in what world does that make any sense? It's like we don't do that.
Hello there.
We don't do that with people of like we don't. Okay, cool. So let's look at the crime statistics. We go like, oh well, looks like it's 90% black. We don't hold black people responsible for the crimes of other black people. Like you don't do that anywhere in the world. But here, it's fine. It's fine to do that to the grandchildren of people who have long dead. I don't get it. And then these people come out, and then the same guy's an advocate. I'm going like, wow, how?
It's like someone from the UK coming to visit South Africa, a tourist, and you start screaming at him about the Anglo-Boer War. It's like this guy was not involved. He was born in the UK 100 years after the war. You can't blame him for it. But that's exactly what we face in South Africa. And to your point, this is an advocate. I DM'd you. This guy is speaking on YouTube.
Oh yes,
actually, he had an interview, I think, with. Yeah, if you can pull up the interview he did, and then we play the space as a contrast.
Is it the just want to check, Rib. Is it the last post you sent, or the?
I think so. I say that it's hard to believe it's the same guy. I think that's what I said.
Black Advocate Isaac is the one that says Black Advocate Isaac, but he says he will assault white people, political leaders, change that one, or the last
one. I think the last one.
Okay, cool. Got it.
Because this is a clever guy. It's a well-spoken guy. He's an advocate. He's trained in Western laws, and this is his thinking that because you're white, you're guilty. It's crazy.
No, it's insane. Here we go. I got it. It's just double check. Is it? Where is it? It's this one, right?
Not that one. There might be another video on that tweet. There should be. We can play this one after that.
Sorry, just go back. Sorry, guys. Let me see which one is it. It's not the first one you said. Sorry, I'm just. I think it's this. It's got the two videos, and then
one should be.
It's striking to see the same person. That one.
That's it. Yeah.
Okay, got it.
I'm going to make his life a miserable hell. I'm letting you know now, Jack Miller.
So, do you mind playing the other one first?
Okay, cool, no problem.
And then we listen to him on the space.
Okay, right, just go back. The one that's next to it, with the news reporter.
No, yeah, exactly.
Oh, okay.
Because this guy actually gets interviewed by news channels.
Gotcha. This one.
Yeah.
Okay, got ya.
The Constitutional Court operates within the boundaries of the Constitution. And so if you're approaching the Constitutional Court, it is because you're saying that there is legislation that you of the view it violates the Constitution in terms of Section 2 of that Constitution, which says that that every act or law that exists, the Constitution is the Supreme Court, the supreme law of the country, that any other law which is invalid would be which is not inconsistent with the Constitution.
Just lawyers speak.
Yeah,
but you can hear the guy's well spoken. He's an intelligent, seemingly intelligent guy. And then if you play the other one, you see what he's actually like.
This is what he actually believes.
Yeah.
This was insane to me. It's just like this is what this guy, and coming back to what you just said, Nana. It's like this is somebody that believes they want this. This is like they completely somehow believe that the people who are alive today, every single white person is inherited something, is somehow better off. Every one of us apparently received magical free shit from like land, and that land is gonna. I have shit tons of farmland apparently, and I'm just well off because of it.
I'm going to make his life a miserable hell. I'm letting you know now, Jack Miller. It's not going to be nice. I'm going to interrupt you and ask you questions until. You're not going to like it. I don't give a shit. So my point to you is that firstly, white people in this country is an abomination. Point blank. Whatever statistics of crime you're going to tell us, hey, what, is caused by you. You caused it. If you had let us be here with our nakedness and our kind of Zulu land, if you had let us there, killing each other and invading each other's crowds and having tribal authorities, would have been nice. We would have been better. There's no argument here. I don't give a shit about the crime rate. What you caused it. You are supposed to say, yeah, well, as a white man, we brought colonialism in this country. We brought all these economic things and finances, and that led to black people being disenfranchised and black people being denied the means of the economy. We've created the colored community as a whole through slavery, and the Malays brought to the Cape Colony. The Khoisans invaded and raped, women raped. We caused that. We caused the nonsense. Until you say that and accept that, I'm not gonna take you serious because you caused that nonsense there. You caused it. You caused it. The people
What?
who are now calling themselves the base in Limpopo, the colored communities, they are victims of rape from white people. Victims of people being dragged through slavery across the continents and the world. Those are the problems of the white people. If we were going to talk about crime in the Cape Flats, it's the white people. Why do we even have a Cape Flats to begin with? Where were these people moved from, where it is their land that they could not occupy because white people wanted to occupy the farms and create winelands in the Cape Colony? Those are the problems of the white people. I don't give a shit about the recent stats of crime. I don't give a crap. You caused it. Until white people come to the party and say we caused that nonsense, and then we are intending to help you solve it. How do we solve it? We must give colored people, Khoi people, Xhosa people in the Cape Colony the means of production, the means of empowerment in order for them to move away from those crimes. That's how you move away from crime. All this nonsense about Cape independence, they're giving you a platform, Rena, this time. Yeah. Yeah. Honestly, I would have beaten you up. And you would have pressed charges and I would have been out on bail. That matter of
Keyboard
disappear. I would
warrior.
have murked you again the next time I see you. I'll
But
murder
you know
you
what he
every
said
time
there?
I see your face.
Yeah.
I would have murdered you
He
because
said,
you're a piece of
I'll
shit.
murder you, you'll
You can't
press
talk about Cape
charges, and the
independence
case will
in
disappear.
Yeah.
An attorney saying this, that he'll make
No,
the
no, of
case
course.
disappear. Jeez.
No, it's insanity. It's really, it's like you like it. I don't know how you get there where you can go, okay, cool. We're going to blame people alive today for things that they had nothing to do with. It's idiocracy in just happening, just manifesting in the real world. It's insanity. You're going like, what must you do? Like, what were you on? Are you insane? But he wants to hold those people who happen to look like other people. I mean, I don't know. What is that called again, Darthron? When you accuse people that have what do we call that? We call that racism. That people don't even understand basic definitions of stuff. It's like, but they're the first to call everybody else. People like him are the first to call someone else a racist. He begins. I remember him when he started this. He keeps referring to Jack and everybody else as the racists. And it's going like, you're nuts. You are absolutely nuts. It's really crazy.
And I mean, it's something, that type of rhetoric has been allowed in South Africa for a very long time. And you can see what it's kind of festered into, where people saying hateful things, people being violent towards white people and threatening, that's been allowed. I wrote an article this week about free speech in South Africa and how people like Ronaldo gets into trouble about a video he did 10 years ago where he used a term to use it metaphorically to explain something, and he got basically cancelled for it. You've got Penny Sparrow had her life ruined for saying black people behaved like monkeys, You have
Yeah,
that Vicky Momberg lady who went to prison because after being a victim of crime, she said the K word in front of police people. She went to prison. But then you've got, on the other side, political leaders calling for the killing
yeah,
of white people, saying things like this guy said now, that we're an
yeah,
abomination and a crime against humanity,
yeah.
and nothing happens to them. So
No,
we
nothing.
do have a society in South Africa where, and the SA Human Rights Commission
They don't. No, they
acknowledged
don't
this,
care.
that
No, of
based
course.
on the race of the perpetrator and the
But
victim, different justice gets
different. Yeah.
applied.
No, of course. But that's exactly what they want. I mean, they don't apply the justice the same way. And it's like try and make that rational, logical connection in your head where you go, okay, wait, so somebody who uses a throwaway term like Vicky Momberg, Penny Sparrow, and an analogy, that thing to people who really like down to their bones, like this guy goes like, this is not just him like he just didn't say it in the moment of anger. He is absolutely 100%. He thinks that people of a specific race are abomination to this country. It's like, are you
Yeah.
like, this is madness. I mean, listen, like here's I mean, this is a classic comment. Sorry, I just wanted to read this one comment from Ambrose West. And Ambrose goes, the stupid thing is that you people, what do you mean you people? Do not seem to get it is you who are standing gatekeeping for people sitting on thousands of hectares. Why don't you address them and correct the injustice of the past? Well, let me address the first part first, is because through the history of time, right? I mean, what you're doing is you're making sort of, what's a nice way of putting it? Almost like a Todd analogy of the situation. Through the history of time, there was always the 1%. In America, Kanye West is going to call them the Jews. Every year we're calling it the rich white people. And for the history of the entire human race, there's always going to be people that are much more successful than everybody else. Now, if you want to, you can be silly and you can go, wow, what's the thing that all these other people have in common? Oh, they happen to be white. Oh, they happen to be Jewish. Oh, they happen to be this. Or they happen to be American. It's silly. That's just the world, how the world works. The second part of your argument, which is like we're stopping, we want to address and correct the injustice of the past. You can't fix past injustices. Also, you can't use the thing that was evil to fix it with. Like if there was a whole bunch of people were murdered or killed, you can't use murder to fix that. Justice doesn't work like that. For example, if somebody got graped, right, you can't ungrape them. Unfortunately, that's just happened. It's just like this, like no one's fixing the past injustices of, I don't know, all the early Christians being fed to lions and massacred. There's no coming back from that. No one's fixing shit. It just hasn't. All the people that were enslaved by the Arab slave trade throughout history, there's no fixing that. You can't fix it, right? We have to move forward. You can't have an unequal society. It's just really, really simple. But you want to hammer onto this.
This is what the Lord of the Rings was about. You can't use the ring. You can't take this thing and now use it for your own good. It's a thing that is bad. You
exactly.
I think I tweeted something and someone said, we don't understand mathematics. Put it in a different term. And I said, if you have one healthy cow and one sick or one injured cow, you don't heal the injured cow by injuring the healthy cow. Then you have two injured cows.
Yeah, but the thing is, Rib, they want equality. And to them, a lot of people that think like that, right? And when I go them, I mean people who think that similar way. Because there's millions of people, and this is not a race issue. There are millions of Black South Africans who do not think along racial lines. They just don't. There are certain people that just have to go down this road. That is equality to them. Like a lot of people, they would rather everybody, and this is a very commie sort of position. Commies would rather have everybody be poor, right? Poor equal to them, as opposed to there being differences. The thing is, and the easy thing is to understand is no one is equal. No one will ever be equal, ever. There's going to be people that have better health than me. There's going to be people that are faster than me. There's people that are shorter than me. There's people that are more successful than me. the idea that, like, for example, what like a lot of people think, like Ambrose here, maybe, like he goes, well, you know, there's a lot of people that the first argument is, oh, well, a lot of people own land. I mean, it's like, but yeah, just because like the small majority of, and again, they make the arguments like farmland. It's not residential. It's not actually land. They conflate the two. It's farmland only, commercial farmland. That's the thing. The majority of people who own property are black people. Did you know? Like, I think it's something like 90% of black homeowners own a second house.
Really?
Yeah. No, you can literally go. You can actually go check the statistics with ChatGPT, with Grok. Somebody actually brought out, there was this interesting thing where if you go look at property ownership, like private property, like homes. Give an example. Cyril Ramaphosa owns what, 32 properties, private properties. If you go look at people just who owns houses, I think the estimate is there is 15 million homes that are owned in this country, via still through the bank or some shit like that. 15 million homes. Of those homes, only 1.6 million of them are owned by white people. And of those, all homeowners, 90%, 95% of people who own second homes are black people. Like, of the 1.6, I think it's something like almost nobody owns a second home. But that's the narrative that people have. If you keep telling people for years and years and years, that's the bad guy, they own everything. It's like, oh, like, that's really cool. I kept getting told that. Oh, well, you own. I'm just like, when do I get this farmland that I have? Or when is white monopoly capital just going to, deposit money into my bank account? Because I never see it happening. I don't know.
That's exactly, what we were saying earlier, that everything politicians do and say is for the audience. You can use statistics to prove and say anything, especially if 99% of your population doesn't understand statistics or the actual data. You can manipulate it in any way. If the ANC wants to give a positive message or an accurate message about land ownership, they could do it. If they wanted to tell people, yes, if you look at per square kilometer ownership, white people look good, but that's because you've got massive farms in the Karoo in the Northern Cape, which is desert. You need to look at a different measure. They could do that, but their ideology and what they want to achieve is they want to take all of the farms that they can. They want to manage it, because some of the farms that they've taken, they also haven't given the title deeds to black people. Government holds on to that title deeds.
Yeah, of course. They're not going to give it to them.
It's Marxism. They want control over the means of production, including food. And they're using this narrative of the evil white man possesses everything, so government should take it for you, but they're actually taking it for themselves.
Yeah, of course. I mean, listen, we did this. I remember me and Darthron did this statistic a while ago. We went and looked at I mean, it's really basic math, right? So if you have a sheep farm in the Karoo, because that's the best place to have sheep, right? The amount of farmland, I think it's like you need 5 hectares per sheep, per single sheep. Now you're going, okay, cool. Here's a farmer who's got 100 acres of farmland. It's like, well, it gets allocated as commercial farmland because he's a sheep farmer, right? But it's like the one sheep needs 5 hectares to graze because nothing grows there. And they're going, well, he's got all this land, and like, it doesn't mean anything. It really doesn't mean anything. And I think I saw a video, it was today or yesterday, where like there's the black economist, who tries to explain this to people. And he goes like, you don't understand what risk factor farming just in general takes place. I mean, like, I have a family member who's got a farm, right? And it's not in KwaZulu-Natal, it's in the Western Cape, where we didn't take land from anybody, right? We didn't take it from the Khoisan and steal it, like, but it's like it's insane. Like, they do citrus, and it's like you plant citrus for the first 3 years, you get nothing. Right? It's just nothing, bro. Like, you have to invest, and you have to, the amount of money that racks up. And I like, sometimes, like, when we sit and talk, we talk about, like, we talk a bit of shop. We're going like, so like, how's business and stuff? And he goes like, when it gets explained to you where it's like they run a deficit for 3-4 years I mean, you're paying staff, you're paying for insecticides, you're paying for water, you're paying for the tractor, you're paying for equipment for 3 years straight. You're just forking money out. You're just laying out, taking a loan out of the bank, and then another loan at the bank, and eventually then you get your first thing, and then oh shit, the market just flips. Because you can't dictate. You don't know what the price of an orange is going to be 3 years from now. The market decides that, right? You have no concept of it. Like buying some random shitcoin is better business than doing this. I'm going like how are you? Like, sorry, you did what? And then I was like, oh, some random. It rained the week before they were going to harvest, and suddenly all the oranges got these white spots on. I'm going like, what is a white spot? It's like, oh, no, it's nothing. It just looks weird. But the price now halves. I'm going, yeah. Sorry, you're joking? It's insane, dude. Yeah. And then this is the thing, Rib. We know that 90%.
That's just nature. Sorry. You're not even like you get the regulation from the government itself. You've got to use this pesticides, and this shit gets updated every year. And it's not just once off. It's just all the time. These regulations.
Yeah. No, 100%. If you can do, if anybody can, if you're not sure, if anybody's not sure about farming, go do yourself a favor and go watch Clarkson's Farm. It is an absolute like wake up call to understanding the issue, how intricate farming is. You can't just go decide, oh, listen, I'm going to go plant this thing now. But the thing is, again, like Rib, like you mentioned, it's really not about the farmland. And they use this, like you say, they use this as a cudgel to just beat people over the head, because it's a really great stat, right? It's like, oh, like 80% of commercial farmland is owned by white people. I'm going like, yeah, but it's corporations who own that, who do commercial farming. It's like, that's like saying, well, the 80% of exports is from like white companies. And you're going like, well, yeah, the biggest companies like Pick and Pay. Like, it's like saying that the biggest shopping markets, groceries, is owned by white people. It's going, yeah, Checkers, Woolies, and Pick and Pay. Yeah, it happens to be white people. I mean, like, so fucking what?
Yeah,
I mean, like,
if you imagine we now go and take 3 Karoo farms and give it to black people, and the percentage of the square kilometer area drops to white people only own 20% of farms. Do you think they'll stop? Do you think they'll say, okay, we're happy now? It'll just keep going. Next, they'll say, no, you're all land thieves. None of you belong here. We need to take all the farms, because it's all about capture. If you're not able to create more wealth, your only alternative is to take wealth from someone who can create. And I think that's the big issue. You've got Marxist policies in place, anti-free market policies that fail to grow the economy. So nothing is growing except our population and our unemployment rate. And the only solution is to take from the areas that are productive.
Yeah.
And I mean, it feels sometimes like we're discussing calculus with people who are playing checkers.
Yeah.
Everything we're saying is correct, but the people who believe in these ideologies will not listen to it, because it doesn't make them feel good. It doesn't give them nice vibes, and it takes away their entitlement and that they feel they deserve. So, honestly, I'm as you know, I live overseas, so it's quite obvious that I'm pretty pessimistic, but about the future. But we need to stand up to these ideologies, and we need to try our best to create awareness. And I think in the last couple of months, we've made massive strides in creating awareness about what's happening in South Africa. And it's one of the reasons that they attacked a guy like Boer and cancelled him pretty much, is because we have been making progress and the world is paying attention.
And it is, but I think that whole thing is, it's like, I think it's a mixture of ideology and just a lie, right? It's like some of it is a lie, because the thing is, like, listen, you can't make any rational, reasonable claim like this guy that was arguing with Jack Miller. The guy just like basically just chastised him for like 20 minutes straight. Like, he's going, cool, but like the Western, like Jack goes, well, the Western Cape isn't even part of it. You go, it doesn't matter, it's still our land. Okay, but wait, now you're just revising history, because it's the thing about taking what someone else. The thing is, money isn't finite, right? Anybody can go out and make money. There's no X amount of money, and like, oh, all the white people have the money. It's like, oh, there's X amount of land. Like, what are you going to do with the land? All the majority of the time, and this is what happens, is people get, oh, land was stolen, and there's a practical route to get that back. If your land was stolen, generational land was stolen from you, it should be given back. And it gets given back, right? There's a way of doing that. But now you're going, well, we need expropriation without compensation, because actually it's not just the stolen land. It's just like the entire South Africa is actually stolen from the people who were here, like, well, did you start the country? No, you didn't. But it's like that's rational. And the lie is that they've been told for generations, or for like, I think now we're close on a whole generation. We're going into our second generation of ANC rule, where it's been like, okay, cool. Well, those people stole your stuff. Sorry, what? Like who? Oh, no. All the white people have stolen your stuff. But what did I steal? No, it doesn't matter. Like, other people that look like you did it, so you're responsible. Like, what? How does it? I just keep going back to that. And I think the best way is to just decimate their argument, is to use this basic rationale. So, I've not stolen anything from you. My great grandparents didn't steal anything from you. Because by that same rationale, your argument is mute.
I think you're exactly right. We need to fight those arguments, and one way of doing it is to be really specific. So to give you an example, Dan Corder on the Piers Morgan show said, white farm murders aren't an issue. So one way, I was a bit disappointed, because I thought Gareth Cliff and Aaron's Roots would destroy this guy.
Right,
because they just,
right, same, bro.
I thought there's so much more knowledgeable and intelligent than this clown that they would destroy him. But the tactics he used of just being the loudest and most obnoxious and arrogant dick in the room, I think Gareth Cliff and Aaron Roots didn't want to embarrass themselves by stooping to his level. But what I think they should have done is, if he says farm murders aren't an issue, then ask him, okay, what is the murder rate on white farmers?
Yeah.
What he would answer is, I don't know, but it's the same as the population. And then you can say, okay, but if you don't know, how can you say it's the same?
Yeah.
I think with these leftists, they don't know the specifics. They believe in an ideology. They believe in vibes. And their vibes is that there aren't farm murders. So if you then ask him, okay, how many farm murders were there in the last 10 years on average? He can either not answer you, or he can get it wrong. But we have to kind of force these leftists into talking about specifics. So if someone says, you stole my land, you can say, okay, what land was yours? And how did I steal it, if you make this claim?
Yeah. But exactly what you're saying, because what happens then, I think, and this is what I've been like learning, and this is like, I had a great discussion with the Spoon, the aristocratic utensil, and like it's the narrative, that the same thing that I noticed with like Andrew Wilson. Now, if you've ever watched Piers Morgan, you've seen a guy on there called Andrew Wilson. We need somebody in the South African vibe that does that. He like, if like a Dan Corder goes low, this is the issue I had as well. Neither Gareth nor Aaron's were kind of like, Aaron's made one comment and completely decimated at one stage. I'll play it to the crowd now. They just decimated Dan's entire like argument he had. But you need someone to own them, because you have this thing where Dan does a vibe, and then he goes, this is what he used when they talked about the farm murder issue. He went like, well, if you look at the recent statistics, there was only one murder. They're going, okay, cool, but like we've had 20 years of it, 30 years of it, 36 years of it. You're going like 3,000, 4,000 people murdered on their farms. It's not something it's like, oh, while the national rate is higher. I mean, yeah, but like we delineate between normal murder and gender-based violence. I mean, like women are not getting killed anywhere close to what, like I think men get killed, like something like 85% of murders are men being murdered. But we delineate and we go like, oh, well, we really need to pay attention to gender-based violence. And also child murder. Like we delineate, we make these delineations. But somehow when you make a delineation between people of a specific what do you call it? Like a specific job. I mean, because that's what it is. I mean, people in the police force aren't being killed at the same rate that farmers are being killed over the years. Now, if you take Dan's thing of just the last 3 months, you're going like, it tells me two things. It tells me, one, all the shit that all this everybody coming out talking about farmers is doing, it's actually helping, because it looks like it's reducing it, right? Because we've got now the average was 64 murders, about 65, was it between 45 and 65 farm murders would take place each year. So far, I think for the December, was it August, September, October, there was like something like there was one. That's what the new crime statistics showed. So it's like, again, wait, so us talking about it and people talking about it, you are kind of hopefully, it feels like there's a difference is being made. Right?
Yeah, agreed. But I mean, he quoted one quarter statistics that was released, I think, a week ago by the South African Police Service. So there's been no time to validate it. And that's one
time
quarter.
To double check it.
When you look at 10 years worth of data, so 40 quarters, you can get a much better statistic. In statistics, you talk about random noise or volatility. 1 quarter is not a significant amount of data to look at.
Of course.
There is an issue. So they should have asked them, Dan, over the last 10 years, how many farmers get murdered every year? How many white farmers? He probably doesn't know, but the number is around 60. And then if you look at the total number of white farmers, which is around 30,000, that gives you a murder rate 3 to 4 times the South African average. And the South African average is already one of the highest in the world. So that shows you there's a massive issue.
100%, dude. I think the world, I think we're number 2. I think the world top is like 42 per 100,000 or 44 per 100,000. We're at 42. And the rate of being, if you're a farm murder, the rate of being white farmer specifically, the rate of death is something like you're 120 something. Now I remember this. Dan Corder made a video regarding that a year or 2 or 3 ago. He made the specific. It was about last year. I think he made this video where he debunked. Because this was like AfriForum stats. He debunked it because he said it's not really 127 per 100,000. It's more like 110 or maybe 95. I'm going like, oh, okay, cool. So it's not 5 times more than the national average. It's just 4 times. Like nothing to worry about then. It's just like, and this is the thing. This is what I wanted to see during that interview where I stop being measured and reasonable with people who are just going to come there and drop facts and then act like a PC principle where, like, you know, that meme with the dude and he wins silver and he's like, yeah, and he's fucking shaking the champagne and like, I fucking won. Because that's what he did. He afterwards like, looks like I won the debate. It's like, you didn't win anything. But what we needed someone to challenge him and go like, okay, cool. Oh, well, I've, this last quarter, and just go like, wait, hold on. What about the last 20 years of it? That just defeats his argument instantly. Because the thing is, Dan doesn't use logic. He really just doesn't. Speaking of Dan,
what you mentioned now about his own tweet on the murder rate of farmers, where he thought he was proving AfriForum incorrect. That would have been such a good thing to use in that discussion.
Yeah.
To say, Dan, but you said yourself in this tweet on this day that the farm murder rate is whatever.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but I agree with you. I think Gareth is a reasonable guy, or at least he was on PS, and I think Ernst is a scholar. He's a gentleman.
Yeah, he is a gentleman.
You need a war pig in there. You need a Trump.
100%. You need someone just goes in there that does not give a shit. Someone's going to be rude. They're going to be rude back. You don't take shit from these people. You just can't. Like this is my new flaw. I mean, I messaged you the other day. I think it was like after watching the whole thing. I think it was a Saturday morning. I still messaged you going like, bro, this shit with just this measured approach to people who literally are calling for your death, who people have no issue. Never in my life have I even said this to somebody like that I don't like, that I like a politician I absolutely hate. Never in my life have, even when somebody has died that I completely despise, when, oh great, thank fuck this person's dead. It's just like that's I've never wished for someone else's death. Never. But these people will literally come into your tweets and they go like, yeah, like, we need to fucking execute you. We need to eradicate you. Your kind needs to be wiped off the face of this earth. And we're going like there's no way in being measured and reasonable with these people. And this is what upset me when I watched like Gareth, because I've watched a few of his things and he's got good arguments, but he just, he was the sort of measured, well, there's problems on both sides. Like you just didn't decimate any of his arguments. You just went like, well, and again, at the same time, yeah, of course, it's like, he's got a specific persona, but I would have been nice to just just push back on like the horse shit that Dan was just throwing out there, just not being challenged on it. I mean, like the only person that challenged Dan was like, I think was Piers, and then once was Ernst.
Yeah. And the problem is, if you're being nice and you're being too kind and gentlemanly, the result is frog boiling of 30 years where you slowly get marginalized and get pummeled away.
Yeah.
And I think the time has really come where we need to speak up against this behavior. And this example with this advocate, I think, he's been reported now to the, what's it called? The LPC. I have it on good authority that someone gave it to News 24 and they acknowledged receipt of what happened.
Never gonna even.
Let's see if they do anything or say anything about it. I know they won't. But it's really time that we address these issues because it'll only get worse. And I think the reason that this type of vitriol and hate speech against white people is currently being done publicly is we've allowed it to go on for too long, and it's really time to put a stop to it.
That's what you were talking about when you mentioned earlier the thing with Trump. It's like that's the and I was doing the stream. I was live streaming the whole the vibe with the Trump meeting, and that's what I noticed on Cyril's face. I'm going to say it again. Sorry guys, if you've heard me say this before, I apologize. But that was the thing. You saw it on Cyril's face. Everybody, like you were saying, everybody started laughing when they put the thing on. But then you could see Cyril. Cyril's like, and then you can see him look up, glance across the room, and just all of a sudden just go, ooh, fuck, what have I done? Because he doesn't seem to realize how disgusting that is. You can stand on your head, right, and go, well, it doesn't mean that. I mean, I don't know if you watch the debate, the discussion that Ronaldo had with that Nota Beloy. Right, where he dances around the vibe of.
I want to watch it, but that guy fools me with a piping rage. So I'm not sure I can handle listening to Nota for too long.
It was insane because it's like he just dances around this concept where he goes like, okay, cool. So like, no, listen, like, kill the Boer doesn't really mean that. It just, it's like they're metaphorical and the black people are metaphorical. It doesn't really mean that to them. And Ronaldo just repeats the same thing as going, but I'm not speaking on behalf of my entire people. I'm speaking, this upsets you. And you can't speak on behalf of your other people. But and then I was watching and I'm going in the same breath, okay, cool. So how does it work when you say the K word or the N word? That somehow harms people, but maybe I just meant it as a joke. So, but when you say that, it's like you mean it metaphorically. Okay, well, if I say the K word metaphorically or in a joke, then it's fine. No, it fucking wouldn't be. You wouldn't go, oh, it's fine then. You meant it metaphorically. It doesn't matter. Like, like when Penny Sparrow, what's the chick that, did the thing called people on the beach monkeys? And we're going like, what's she meaning? But she was being metaphorical. She was just making an analogy. It's like, none of that fucking shit flies. No, it won't. But it's like, when you guys do things, it's like, oh, it's totally cool. It's like, and this is the thing. This is the one thing that they just want. They just want equality under the law. And this is what, like, you have people from the outside looking in, like with Trump, like the entire world. And this is the problem now. This is what happens where there isn't a genocide, right? It's like, I mean, I heard, but I dug Jack Miller's argument about that, right? But if you look at it in context, you zoom out and you go, oh wait, there was 60,000 farmers. There's 30 now. 3,000 to 4,000 have been murdered. Yeah, kind of. And then you have politicians singing about it, and you go like, well, that really does. And that's why you have like people like Ben Shapiro. You have political commentators across the world when they look at the situation, going, well, wait, how is it not a genocide? right? Because it sounds like one, it walks like one, it quacks like one, it therefore is a duck, right? It's like, oh, just the numbers aren't there yet. Like, well, listen, stop calling it that. Okay, sure. And then when it happens, it's like, wow, oh, look, now it is. Now, okay, no, totally is now. I don't know, man.
Yeah. So
it blows my mind, dude.
One approach could be to avoid the word genocide or calling anything a specific genocide and saying that we have not reached extermination levels yet. There's lots of persecution happening. There's lots of marginalization happening, targeting of people and, oppressing of people. We have not reached extermination. The problem also with the left is they focus on the word genocide and they say, oh, there's no genocide, so we don't need to worry about anything. Well, okay, but what about 30 years worth of marginalization in terms of culture, in terms of jobs, in terms of so many aspects? There's something else I DM'd you, if you don't mind pulling that up, that just shows the transference of wealth. There's an economist graph that shows across the race groups how income has changed.
Is it
one of the first ones I sent you today?
Employment composition of population groups by skill groups. That one.
That one's also interesting, but I think the one after that, somewhere after that, it shows horizontal bar charts. Income change with the different race groups.
Oh, wait, let me just have a look.
From The Economist.
Oh, from the quality of math and science, not that one. Employment composition. I've got one, two. It's the image, right?
Yes.
Or is it the tweet? It's not the one from African Research Desk, eh?
No.
Wait,
I think it's below that.
Failing the bottom half, that one.
Yes, that one.
Middle. Oh, okay, cool. This one.
Yes, exactly.
There we go.
So this shows you what has been happening over the last 30 years, where the top 10%, you can see the top 10% of the black population has grown their income by an incredible amount.
Of course.
Pretty much the top 10% of all groups have done well, but the white top 10% has not done as well as the others. And if you look at the next 40% of people, black people have also increased their wealth. If you look at the bottom 50, the poorest white people, black people, colored people, Indian people are all worse off. They're all much worse off. There's been a wealth transfer to the elites, especially to the black elites like Cyril. And that's been the impact of BEE deals. And
100%.
Cyril is now a billionaire from what? He didn't create new companies. He got shares in companies because of BEE and because of his ANC connections. And there are so many. Someone else said this recently, that something like R1 trillion has moved to 100 black South Africans. So 100 black South Africans have become incredibly wealthy. And as you can see in the chart, the poorest people are even poorer.
Yeah. No, it's insane. It's insane. Ooh, I just want to say welcome to all the techers that have joined. Ronaldo, bro. All the love. Thank you. Dude, you guys are awesome. Thank you. I just want to say thanks to all the techers. We're having a chat about farm with the ghost of Jan van Riebeeck, Rip van Janberg. If you guys aren't following him on X, go follow Rip from Janberg. The guy is absolutely amazing. His content is it's really like just on the verge of, just gives everything. Just honest, straight up facts. Really, go check it out. 100% Kif. Well, fuck, I had this whole thing that I wanted to say now. I just had a complete thought and I completely lost it.
Sorry, just on the previous point. So they get stuck on this idea of genocide and they say, no, there's no genocide, so there's nothing to worry about. But the fact is, there's so much happening besides extermination level genocide. There's oppression happening, transference of wealth. There's a reduction of rights, exactly like we spoke about free speech. We don't have the same free speech as Black South Africans. We get treated differently in front of the law. Imagine if a white attorney or advocate went and said the things that Isaac guy said.
Never.
He would have had his house burnt down by now.
Bro, like the next day, the EFF would be outside his house. The next day, the Human Rights Commission, the South African Black Human Rights Commission, would be at his door. They would do the thing where they took the phone and they'll do the little selfie of them handing in the application. That's what they did with Ronaldo. They would do that, but when it's like the Nota Belois of the world, and as soon as person's a different race, oh, well, you know, they're previously disadvantaged. You're going like, well, I don't understand how that's possible, but that's the world we live in. It's like, and this is the issue, and this is what I think when Trump looks. Hello there. Like there isn't equality under the law. That's all we're asking for: equality under the law. And like the people like the Dans and the Cyrils just don't get it. It's like you can achieve these things by doing it in a separate way. If somebody has had their land stolen, right, by the apartheid government, that's wrong. No one's saying that's good. If you randomly lived on a section of somewhere and along came the apartheid government and they took your land away and then they sold it to some white farmer, then yes, they unfortunately, two parties have been wrong then. Right, but if the government took it away and just randomly gave it, which I don't think the government did. I think that was very seldom that actually happened, where the government took land and just randomly gave it for free. Maybe they gave it to their own peeps, but they weren't just handing out. You had to buy it or some sort. But at the same time, it's like, oh, cool. You should be reimbursed for that. Like they should go, no, okay, cool. You're going to get it back. But we have a way of doing that. But the problem is, at the end of the day, the people do that and they don't actually want the land. So the land isn't really the issue. It's just like, well, I think it just comes back down, Rib. It comes back down to the same thing. It's like, if you constantly tell someone those people are evil, they took your stuff, you're going to want stuff from them. I don't know how else we can like argue around.
I mean, you've got a great video that you shared about Cyril saying apartheid in his speeches, that like apartheid. The reason he does that is they've got a Marxist ideology about equality, about redistribution, about BE, these things. And it's so clear that it's failing. We've got 30 years of receipts of this ideology just failing. Besides South Africa, we've got the Soviet Union, where this type of thinking just failed. And their solution is more Marxism, but they need to blame something for the failure. So they keep blaming apartheid. And in connection to that, you need to blame white people. White people and apartheid is the same thing. White privilege and we need equality with white people.
Yeah.
So they keep going down this road of blaming everything on apartheid, on white people, and ramping up Marxist policies that just make things worse. Yeah. And they are incapable of seeing this. They
can't.
The conclusion they draw is we need more Marxism. We haven't gone hard enough.
But I mean, but the thing is, like, do we have a society that just lacks basic reasoning? I mean, is that what Is that what it comes down to? Is like we just like how long do the ANC have to lie, cheat, and steal? I mean, like you can't pretend that they're being good, right? Like, yeah, I mean, I think this is one of those things that I think who is it? Yeah, Ronaldo asked Nota Belois in his thing, and he just gave this absolutely tarded answer to it. But it's like at what point do you realize the government that you have in power is failing? And then when people make the assertion going, okay, cool, well, listen, let's compare it to the previous administration, right? The evil one. You're going, okay, cool, well, yeah, people had jobs, there was segregation, which is terrible, but there's a whole bunch of stuff. Cool. Can't we get police back? Oh, do you want to make it like apartheid? No one is saying that. But you have to compare apples with apples, right? You got to go like, cool, listen, this shit isn't working. We're completely hemorrhaging. People are worse off today than they were during apartheid, right?
I think another issue that we need to understand around the cultural differences is there is a bit of a big chief mentality in South Africa.
Yes.
And I'll
yes,
never
yes,
forget
yes.
when I was still living in South Africa, I was listening to 5FM the one morning, and a black radio presenter lady, very clever, very, very impressive lady, was talking about, at the time, Jacob Zuma was talking about getting a second jet or a second Boeing. So when he flies somewhere, there's a second one in case there's an issue with the other one. And people were really upset about this, but she said, no, but he's the president. I think he deserves it. I think he deserves another jet. Like, why?
Dude,
And
no,
the
but dude, listen.
Western way of thinking about things, coming maybe it's from the French Revolution where we cut the rich people's heads off, is that they work for us. Politicians work for us. We pay their salaries. We've
Yeah.
got a disliking for politicians in general, and we like to tear them down. Whereas the African way of thinking about things is the chief deserves
It's
whatever he
totally
wants.
different.
The
No, dude.
chief
I've
looks
actually,
after us, and we need to give him what he deserves.
dude, I saw this firsthand. I remember being in the Eastern Cape. Was it, I think 2006, 2007 election, and I remember being my parents were staying in King for like 6 months or a year, and I remember going there, and I remember driving around, and there was this. I was driving around with a dude, and I saw the ANC driving to all these little villages all around King Williamstown. Right, there's all these little villages everywhere. And I remember the one day we were driving past, we went to go pick up the cleaning lady or something, or drop her off. And we were in the car, and I'm going like, listen, what's the vibe here? Like, everybody was outside celebrating. And she tells me, no. What happened was the ANC has given the chief of the village like this absolutely shitty second-hand car. And it's just like, it's got an big ANC stick on. And everybody was celebrating the chief has gotten a car. And okay, what did they get? And they go, no, nothing. Okay, but what are they happy about? And they're like, no, because he got a car. And he's like, this is awesome now because he's got a car. And everybody in the village is going to vote ANC because the chief got a car. And it's like this weird king monarchy thing. Like, it's like, oh, well, like, we're happy because, and it's kind of a bit retarded to me. It's going like, you're not getting any benefits. And I mean, I still hear of people today going, oh, like one day the ANC is going to give us a house. It's like, bro, it's been 36 years. Like, when's that going to happen?
I think that's really weird for us to understand. But for some reason, if they see their chief doing well or their leader doing well, they feel happy about it, and that's okay, even if they have a tough time. I mean, there's a few things about Black South African culture that we just struggle to comprehend. I'll never forget. I know of a domestic worker that's like, she worked until around 70, and the family that she worked for, that I know, they told me that they would give her things like extra things to take home, groceries and stuff. And she would be really nervous because she had to hide it somehow, because she knew that if she took these extra things home and the neighbors saw her, that they would kind of come and harass her and say they want some of it, she should give it to them. So she had to hide anything she got extra.
Yeah,
it's such a weird concept.
No, dude, it's insane. Like, I mean, listen, our story, like our cleaning lady, dude, she's been like, been with us for what, like fucking, like maybe 10 years, like 9-10 years. Like on Monday, like we just like, she was supposed to come into work. We messaged her, didn't hear from her. Messaged her again Tuesday, Monday night, phoned her, tried to phone her son, just like constantly, over and over and over. Finally gets back on Wednesday. No. On Monday morning, on her way to work, these 3 dudes just held her up with a gun, and they stole like something like $100 from her. Held her up. I mean, it's going like, this is the world we live in. People are getting robbed for like nothing. And like, I don't know, dude.
I mean, according to that lawyer, it's our fault.
Yeah, no, it's all our fault. Yeah. The
Crime
crime
is the
thing
white
our
man's fault.
because we
I
apparently
mean, wasn't there like some sort of like police commissioner who said, yeah, it's the white man's fault because you've got all these nice things that we want.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a dude like I'm sweating.
Was that the guy that said that? There's another guy that said, like, don't worry about farmers. We don't really care. We can just buy our shit from Pick and Pay, right? Is that that guy that said that?
Like,
it's like, yeah. But like, listen, in a country like that with those type of people, how are you going to argue with us? Going like, ah, fuck it. You know what? Let's just take a gun and just shoot my brains out because fuck what?
Yeah.
Like, how do you fucking move forward? Wait, so listen, on that note, I just wanted to, because we haven't gotten to the actual Dan Corder thing with the race laws, and I thought this is actually a good time to just. I want to play the video. You haven't seen
we forgot about it.
No, fuck you. It's like it's 2 minutes. We're quickly going to watch it, and then we're going to comment. If you guys are cool with that, right? You happy?
If it's Dan Corder, is it okay if I go take a poop quickly and then I'll
go for it.
And think about it. Think about him hard while you're doing it. Okay, here we go.
All right, Dan Corder, you're mocking what you've just been hearing. Why?
Well, it's just fun to be in the front row of the audience for the circus peers to hear this level of hilarious lying and grifting. So he doesn't name you a single race law that genuinely has anything wrong with it. Then he says the problem is implementation. And then he leaps to, oh no, forget that I was talking about laws. The education system is broken. Doesn't show you which law that has racial redress parts into it could have caused that to happen. Piers, let me clear up these actual laws, because what they tried to do was have a deluge of hundreds of laws and hope that nobody would read them. But I went through their list. I actually covered 25 of the 142 laws on my TV show a few weeks ago. Here's what the laws are actually. They're equity and transformation laws to create meaningful fairness. And here's what actually the vast majority of the laws say. They say there needs to be meaningful representation in South Africa to reflect our country fairly on three things, not just one: race, gender, and disability. But these grifters will say that they're race laws. But if you want to follow their argument to its conclusion, why aren't they calling them sexist laws, Piers? There's representation for women right next to race. And why aren't they saying that able-bodied people are completely disadvantaged? Disability is right next to race and sex. This is a grift to call it a race law when actually, if they are being sincere with what they are arguing, they call them sexist laws too that are very mean to men, and ability laws too.
You're not denying that it's race laws. You're just saying that it's more than that.
Settle down, brother. I'm actually going to talk about what these laws actually say. Let me give you an easy example. The Public Services Act, Piers Morgan. Here's exactly what it says. It's to address imbalances of the past to achieve a public service that broadly represents the South African people, including representation according to race, gender, and disability. That's on their list. That's on their list. And when it comes to, black people haven't been helped by these laws, that is frankly shambolically untrue. We now have a black middle class in South Africa. Sure, it hasn't helped enough black people, and there's a long way to go. But do you know why we have a black middle class? One of the main reasons why we have a black middle class is that the South African government has hired black people into public service and given them the reliable, deserved jobs that have lifted them out of poverty. That didn't exist 5 years ago, 10, 15, 20, 25, or 30. There is active transformation happening through these policies. Ernst Ruitz is going to complain about extreme examples where there are corruption and kickbacks. And in every single system that happens, and we should try to get rid of them. But he's not been able to show a single sincere problem with any of these laws. He's Googled the word disadvantaged in acts and then called them race laws. But if we're going to follow his argument, why isn't he calling them sexist or anti-able-bodied
every government in the world is as corrupt as the South African government?
Let me bring in Gareth.
That's a straw man, my friend. That is a straw man. They are corrupt governments, but you've not shown any problem with the laws. Stop. That was your job. Your burden of proof was to show that these laws are race-based or racist, and you failed, brother. And
Thank you.
Listen, all you can do is laugh at this horseshit. You can honestly only laugh at it. He hasn't made any points.
Hello,
thoughts, lads?
Wow. It's incredible how you can just be loud and obnoxious and just refuse to stop talking. But it also kind of proves the point that he doesn't have any good points. So he's compensating for it with being obnoxious and loud. I mean, there's so much in that to unpack. where he's just wrong. To say that these aren't racist laws because they also look at gender and disability. Okay,
Bro,
so they're
that was
racist
just the
and they're
dumbest argument in
sexist.
the world.
How
Yeah,
is it
like, but
because
that's
because they're sexist, they're not racist? No, they're both.
yeah. But did you see his little face when Aaron started laughing because he points it out, and he's just like, you could see instant defeat and going, settle down, brother. Like, what is he, Hulk Hogan? But it's like, bro, you just like, he just decimated your argument with one fucking line, and you're like, I'm gonna tell you what this is. It's insane. But the thing is, we need to laugh at this horseshit, because that's what it is. It's like, don't get upset, don't get angry. This is absolute. You need to ridicule the living fuck out of this retard. That's the only way you're going to do it. Like, just ridicule this absolute idiocy.
What someone should have said as well is Dan Corder is a state propagandist. He says whatever the state wants. He's not an independent media guy. He's a state propagandist. You will never hear him say something against the ANC. He says whatever they want, and that's exactly what he's doing here. And he's talking loudly and talking over everyone to try and get that point across.
Like,
and it's all bullshit.
It's like arguing with a 15-year-old. Like, that's the type of that wokeness behavior. Like, I can't win the arguments. I'm just going to go louder. And fucking, sorry, one of them mentioned something as well, which I like. Dude must call me brother. Fuck me.
Did you see
it's like those people that go, hey, boot, go fuck yourself. Don't.
Did you see he's trying to make this some kind of win where someone's made an ice cream sitting on a chair, and then above it says, settle down, brother. And they're like trying. I've had some tweets where people comment that and they think it's very clever. Okay.
I see this as somebody who's
an impressive moment.
I see this as somebody who's finally figured out that they can move their thumbs, and they go, "Oh my god, look, I can do this! I'm fucking." It's insane. I mean, but the thing is, I just really want to quickly get into this. I'm going to call it absolute retard logic, right? Because the premise, and this is the thing. This is Dan's entire argument, right? The dumbest part of his argument is the fact that, it's hypothetically not, it's not actually racism, it's not race laws, because there are other ones as well. Aaron's defeats that with one sentence, like 1-3 sentence. So you do acknowledge there are race laws. Argument completely decimated, right? Yeah. But the thing that he now hammers on is he's going, well, they aren't racist laws because it's redress. They're going, okay, wait, hold on, like, sorry, what? So if you really have to like break that down to its bare bones, what it is, the intention of what the racism with good intentions magically becomes not racism. I mean, just think about that for a second, right? That is like me going, okay, cool. Well, listen, I shot my wife in the head, right? But it's not murder because, it was all about, it was about inclusion. There was too many white people around, so I shot her. She's dead now. One less white person. There we go. It's therefore not murder. I mean, this is absolutely borderline. Like, there aren't retarded people, like physically, mentally disabled people, that would make dumb enough arguments like that. But he makes that on live TV, and he's going like, have you not, like, are you, how stupid are you? Has he not said this out loud? He said this and not went and like watched a video going, your logic makes zero sense, bro. Like, absolutely zero. Just go look up what the definition of racism is. It's discrimination on the basis of race. That's all it is. It's like, therefore it's racist.
I've had this debate with a few people on Twitter recently where they would tell me there's no race laws. And then I would give them 10 examples of clear race laws. And then the response is, oh, but you deserve it.
Yeah.
So they literally go from there is none. And then when you prove there are, they say, oh, but you deserve it.
Yes. That's insane. And this is what Dan does at the end there. And he goes, well, Ernest, it's your responsibility to prove that there are racist laws. Like, we don't need to prove anything. It's by definition discrimination on the basis of race, whether good or bad, is racism. Like they're race laws. Like, bro, even if there's additional laws, it's like it's racism. Like, are you? Like it's discriminatory. It doesn't matter what you're trying to fix, because by that same argument, right? By that same argument, you can then argue that what the apartheid government did wasn't wrong because their intention was to keep power for themselves, or their intention was safety. Because that's the argument that they're making. That's the fucking argument. You go like, okay, cool. Well, you know, no. As long as the people who use racism align with my worldview. What? Like, this is like, you need someone needs to completely decimate him just on the basics, just the basic logic. That's the only way we're going to defeat these kind of idiot fucking Marxist, like, dumb think. Tard logic. That's what it is. This is nothing more than absolute tard logic. And there was actually one thing that he does. Sorry, go for it, Rip.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, it's tard logic, but also he is saying what people want to hear. He's saying what the black racist out there, or well, it's not all black people, but the black racists, or the people who like to feel like they're owed something, or the people who have some white hate, they want a white skinny boy to come up and say, yes, white people are bad, white people are evil, white people, whatever. So it's retarded, but it's also catering to an audience, and it's kind of enforcing this white hatred.
Yeah.
Daniel makes a very nice comment. He goes, it's Afrikaans. He goes, net so hy kruip gat sodat hulle nie sy foon moet steel nie. Daniel, jy's back. Okay.
No, but I mean, like, but also, like, further on, he makes this argument where he goes, no, well, BE's actually helped people. And I was like, he goes, yeah, BE's helped people because the government, the majority of people in the middle class have jobs in the public sector. I'm going, what are you? How? And just an easy Google search will tell you that this is completely, utterly false, because you can't have the entire middle class are dependent on public service jobs. It's like, it's completely horseshit. And he just made it. You know what he did? He made it the fuck up because he read it somewhere going, well, no, black economic empowerment government has employed all these people, and therefore now we have a black middle class. It's completely. I think it's something like the stats we have on that is something like 30 to 40% of people, black people in the middle class, have public, like, you know, are in, work for government or somehow. The rest is all in the private sector. It's like, but you're just thumb sucking horseshit stats. It's, dude. But I mean, like, you can't argue with this insanity. You just got to completely decimate it. You need somebody that, like, but the thing is also, this is like the first time I've seen Dan actually do a debate where he actually talks to anybody that's an opposing view to him.
Yeah, like other the tactics he used, the tactics of laughing, of calling them grifters, it was just such terrible tactics.
No, but it's cringe as well, man.
It's cringe for you, but it's the people who support him think it's heroic. They love it.
No, of course.
They hate Aaron's Roots for speaking the truth. They want someone to make them feel better. So they love people like Dan.
No, of course.
And he thinks he's a national hero. I think there were a few news articles that said Dan Corder decimates AfriForum on Piers Morgan. Some crazy stuff. It's lunacy. But I don't think Ernst Roots. I really like Ernst Roots. I think he's doing a great job on podcasts 100%. Of giving a clear, coherent message and being fair and reasonable.
Clear, concise.
Same with Rob Ursoff. You see him everywhere in America now on podcasts, doing a really good job. But to 100%. Fight a miscreant like Dan Corder, you need a Trump type. You need someone who'll call him on his bullshit and won't take it. You need like the Candace Owens of South Africa.
Yeah, but that's the thing. I mean, like Dagbreker says, Dan comes from the era of debate. I don't think. I mean, maybe, but I don't think he can debate anybody. He doesn't actually have any facts. His entire logical framework is completely it's like it's as flimsy as, I don't know, like a ANC tender, right? It's just you can just break it in pieces with it hinges on nothing. It hinges on his worldview that somehow redress is fine. It's like what do you mean? So like they aren't erased? Like, bro, it's just it's insane. It's stupid that, like, I mean, you need somebody that can go up against these idiots and just completely. The only way you can destroy them is on basic, simple logic. I mean, and this is what I think. This is how you have to, and we have to laugh these people into the ocean, because, like you said, Reb, it's like they do this because they're appealing to the thing. This is what News 24 does. News 24 only, like, this is why News 24 doesn't post. They'll post something like random, like the Jan Braai thing, as opposed to posting about like this lawyer, this advocate who literally says that he like white people are a plague on us. Like,
exactly that they want clickbait. So they know a Jan Braai race scandal or a guy peeing on a desk in Stellenbosch who apparently was found not guilty. They know that'll get more clicks than something really serious and more important. But they know white hate, white guilt, white racist events, that gets all the attention. If you go to News 24's page, I did this recently and I searched farm murders. The only farm murders that I saw was when white people were involved. So that incidents where people were fed to pigs, where there was a white guy, colored guy, and a black guy, that comes up. Where the wife was maybe involved, she hired the killers, that comes up. The normal day-to-day farm murders they don't report on.
No. Well, I mean, it doesn't. They're pushing. This is the thing. It's like I used to think about this, especially during the 2016 election when I was watching, the shit unfold with Trump, and I'm going like, I don't get it. So the CNN, using a hypothetical, they can appeal to both sides by just pushing the truth, and they'll have so much more viewership, right? But it's almost like their ideology is outweighing the truth, right? So you could appeal to both sides and just give us the truth, but opinion is better because, like, News 24 figured out the algorithm where they look at it and they go, okay, but listen here, well, we're going to get so much more traction every time. Just go look at it. Every time you find a race story on News 24, just go look at the retweets and stuff, because everything is a monetary incentive these days. It's got nothing to do with the actual fact. It's about pushing monetization. It's like, and this is also kind of what I've seen on X, where I've seen like you've seen a lot of people just post shit because it's almost like as soon as you introduce the monetary system into it, it's almost like you've got these random dudes. Like, what's that one guy that just before the Palestinian Israel thing, he just flipped and now he's just posting, like, because he's just appealing to the bigger market and he's getting, he's monetized and he's just getting money from it. And people just run with that. So now, is it truth or isn't it? Because, well, we're seeing a lot of people following it, a lot of people retweeting it, but it's just opinion. And this is everything that News 24 does is basically opinion-based bullshit. They don't have to report on the news. No one's going to report the news anymore. We report the news. It's like opinions is what makes them money and gets them subscriptions. And this is the same thing Dan does.
So you're saying if someone reports the truth, it'll appeal to both sides? I'm a bit more pessimistic. I think the opposite. Yeah. I think if you report the truth in the middle, then both sides don't want to hear that. They want to hear whatever supports their position.
That's also true.
So if they see something that they like, they pump it out. So Trump bad, the left likes Trump bad, Trump good, the right likes Trump good. So it's really difficult to be in the middle and not to choose sides on topics. And it's very difficult for a news agency to make it in the modern world where you get clicks for what people like, what they find outrageous.
No, you're right. Like they have to pick a side because, like, this is the thing of, like, I mean, if I only read News 24 because I have to, right? I just read it because, like, oh my God, like I don't subscribe to them. I don't go there. I don't get my news from there. It's every now and again somebody shares it. That's the only reason I'm seeing it, or they've posted some ridiculous opinion piece. That's why I go read them, right? And they appeal because there's far more people that, like, Marxist in this country than there are people who oppose that, right? Maybe like people who are centrist or right wing, who are not going to be reading their horseshit. But they appeal to both sides. And this is what happens when a racist story, like one of these things, we end up also feeding that beast. You know, us being and going like, well, this is information. Like, you know, we end up and they bargain on it. I mean, you've got ad companies who now, I mean, this is what I was thinking was happening with this Harry Potter thing when they got a black Snape. I was going like, is it really, or they're only doing it because they're going to work, they're going to base it on this sort of hate marketing. Like, I mean, this is what they're doing. It's like, I don't know. Nothing feels real and true anymore.
Exactly, but I think that's also why it's important that we have independent people giving their opinions, like you're doing with your show, to get a different opinion out there. I mean, can you imagine a world where you only consume News 24?
Oh, dude.
Imagine what your worldview would be.
No, but eventually, like, you'd have to start believing that if you don't see anything else. And like, now imagine people who just watch that and they just go, okay, well, this must be true. Or, you know, like, I remember this realization like years ago. Like, I remember the first season of John Oliver. I was like, oh, this is quite cool. And then like, I watched it and I'm going like, wait, hold on. And I think it was like about halfway, close to the end of the first season. I was like going, wait, hold on. This one thing he's talking about, this doesn't, like, something about guns. I remember it was an episode, something to do with guns. And I was going like, wait, hold on. This fucking idiot doesn't know what he's talking about, right? Then I started going to Google the stats, and you're going like, you know, like, and then the Black Lives Matter stuff, and I'm going, but wait, this dude is like, he's just pushing narrative. And to this day, like, I'll find people who are centrist who go like, oh, you know, they don't follow the news, and they see the headlines and the highlights, but then they'll watch shit like John Oliver, and they go, oh, yeah, Trump's evil because, you know, he did this thing, and I'm going like, wait, hold on, where did you get your news from? Like, oh, like, mostly watch John Oliver, like, and I'm going, oh, fuck me. And this is the thing I was thinking about. This is why I initially wanted to start this channel, because I found there was nothing similar to that sort of late night sort of comedy vibe. Because like I pride myself on not being like a news show or anything. I just, you know, just have fun. You come here, you talk a bit of shit, you know, like make jokes of stuff. Like there is no center or right side of that sort of the John Oliver, the Daily Show, any of this. Everything is just left-wing ideology, 100. Even Bill Maher, who every now and again says maybe like a centrist, and he's got that centrist position, but everything is just one-sided. That's like, they just regurgitate the same thing. Trump, evil man, we need, like, you know, whiteness is the devil. They just echo on this shit. And this is now where we've got like X, like for yourself, for example, like yeah, me, you, everybody, bro, like, just, this is the opposite. And it's like, I never tell people I have the truth. I'm going like, no, you decide the truth for yourself. I'm going to give you the fact. I'm going to give you the other side of the story, because like they say, there's always three sides to a story: yours, mine, and then the truth. You know, and somehow we have to figure it out between. But you can't just hear one opinion. It's insane.
Yeah, exactly. I was at a dinner a few months ago before Trump was reelected, where a lady told me, no, Trump is terrible. And then I asked her, okay, why is Trump terrible? And she said, no, he hates women. He wants to take away women's rights. And then I asked her, okay, what women's rights does he want to take away?
Yeah,
just like
no answer.
No, abortion. He wants to take away abortion. I don't think he's trying to take away abortion.
Yeah.
Do you mean that he's applying judges to the Constitutional Court that might be against abortion? Oh yeah. That's what I mean. It's like they've got this ideological idea: Trump bad, Orange Man bad, and they can't go into the specifics. And that's really how we defeat these people, is asking them about specifics, because 100%. They live on vibes and what makes them feel good and what they want to believe. They want to believe Trump bad. They want to believe Ramaphosa good. That's what they want. One of the most shocking things for me watching this whole Ramaphosa White House debacle, you have a journalist seeing Ramaphosa get out of his car, walking to a hotel, screaming, "Halala!" I think it was a white woman. Screaming, "Halala!" and waving at Ramaphosa. I'm like, you're a journalist. And this is the president of a country with the highest murder rate sexual violence, unemployment. This guy, you should throw pig shit at this guy. You should not be halalaying him. You're not there to be a praise singer for the president. You are supposed to hold him accountable. Exactly. And that's what News 24 is as well. And that's what Anton Rupert is as well. Or Johan Rupert, or whatever billionaire he is.
No, but that's what the media has become. Like I remember like watching those movies, like the movies about the journalists who go out and they spend all this time. Like there was, I think it was, I remember if you watched, I watched Zodiac recently, right? And it's about these journalists who like they go out and they find the story, and then there's the one about, I think it was, I can't remember what the movie was called, like about the whole Watergate scandal where they're like the journalists are pushing this because that they're after truth. That's not that anymore. The journalists, like, I mean, you've got Ramaphosa coming out going like, well, you know, there aren't really any, like, no farm murders, no farmers are being murdered. And then what happens? The next day, News 24 comes out like defending the statement. I'm going like, you're not supposed to be doing that. You're supposed to be holding the powerful to account. Not like you're not supposed to be going after like some random dude who's going like, listen, he doesn't agree with it. And the worst crime, the crime that you've pointed out is him posting a meme of a dude he's got the old South African flag, and I go, look, this is racism. It's like, you guys have become the enemy. It's like, this is the shit that Orwell was warning us about. They have become that. And it's, again, like you say, it's like they're taking money from the government. They get investment from the government. It's just as simple as that. And if that goes away,
they get investment.
They'll fail.
They get investment from the government, and they get advertising income from local companies, from SABC, from whatever BE conglomerate. They get investment from that. So if you say anything against the ANC, you've got problems with your funders, with your advertisers. You've got problems. So they are very incentivized to be positive around the ANC and the South African government. It's a massive problem, and it's becoming so clear that these people are captured. They are not independent. They don't have our best interest at heart. They've been captured.
Yeah, I remember like they used to be able to a journalist's role was to report the truth, or the facts, and they're not even doing that. They're spinning it to their own perspective, their own narrative, their own belief on it. And they used to have honor. Like now they're just fucking pests and parasites.
I mean, you guys, I don't know if you guys saw the article today that they posted regarding Roman Kabanak, right? Where they go like, oh, he said racist stuff. Like, wait, what did he say? Like I saw it today. I was going like, oh, and then I thought about you, Dothron. I was going like, where's the word allegedly? They used to say allegedly. They didn't even give a fuck about that. They just went like, no, Roman Kabanak said racist thing in the past. Okay, but what? Oh, no, it's behind the paywall. Behind the paywall, you can go see whether, you know, what he said. And I don't recall him having said anything racist ever, but they can frame it as that because they're lying. It's like, you guys are not, you're an arm of the, like you're what Orwell is called. This is the problem. They have become the problem. The media should basically, they should give us a full stat of breakdown of where they get their money from. How much money has come from government? We want to see that. You're going, cool, well, wait, hold on. You're not an independent media then. You're paid for, like they are no different than, I remember during the whole beginning of the war with Russia and stuff, they went, okay, well, RT News, they get funding from the Russian government. Okay, cool. Well, we know where their opinion is going to lie. Well, that's the same thing with News 24. You can't be trusted. Like, fuck off them.
Yeah, it's exactly that. So if they say Roman is a racist, ask them for specifics. They can never provide the specifics.
No, they don't.
They live off of vibes and ideology and feelings. It's Roman speaks for, Roman's a conservative guy. He speaks for conservative things. And in their eyes, that's racist. If you're not left-wing or far left, you're racist. If if you say BE is bad, you must be a racist. So if you ask them for specifics, their entire argument falls apart. 100%. But they'll avoid that at any cost.
I mean, this is the thing. I force myself. My wife hates me because of this, right? Every morning on the way to work, I listen to on the way to work, on the way back, I listen to Cape Talk, right? And I just want to know. I have not to date heard one anybody in South African media, like news media, not one fucking person has any opposing opinion regarding Trump. Every single person, no matter what time of day, I can put the radio on and Trump comes up, there will always be sort of a snide remark, the fact that he's an idiot. It's like they all have the same regurgitated opinion. And they have this about pretty much everything. All of a sudden, like a few years ago, Elon Musk was great. Now, all of a sudden, when the mainstream media in America says he's evil, now he's evil as well. Like, do you guys have any like original thought, any opinion? You can go, wait, hold on. I think this is ridiculous. Like the fact that people like just, I mean, I remember was it John Matham who carried on, oh, well, he is doing the Nazi salute. And I'm going like, fuck me. Oh, like just some kind of, just journalism who's got some kind of ethics left, some kind of scruples, just to go, wait, hold on, come on, this looks absolutely stupid. Come on, stop being absolutely insane. But I don't think they can. I think they're forced to go down that route because it's like your editor's going to go, listen, don't say anything because the majority of our listeners want to have you reinforce their opinion.
But you know what? What also I think we need to start focusing on, when I say we, I talk about all reasonable people, is that our opponents can use anything against us and they will use anything against us. So if you're Elon Musk, don't do a weird salute. Don't do it. They want to use anything they can against you. So that seems like an easy thing to avoid. And I mean, if you think about Ronaldo's thing, that was 10 years ago. I understand why he did it at the time. For me, it's really sad that such an avoidable thing was used to ruin a guy's political career. But at the same time, I don't think he belongs in DA politics. I think he's more valuable outside of DA politics.
Yeah.
I think him as a voice, as an independent voice, speaking
so much better, bro.
Truth, so much better. I think within the DA, the DA wants power, the DA wants votes. Sorry to make it a race thing, but the DA wants black votes specifically. That's how you gain power. So anything controversial, they will kill. You cannot be controversial. You cannot speak on behalf of white people in the DA. Because it's so easy to interpret that as against black people.
Yeah,
it doesn't have to be, but it's very easy for your opponents to twist it around and to say, no, you want white supremacy because you don't want BEE, that type of bullshit. So to be a reasonable voice for people, for me, it's better to be outside of the DA.
Yeah. I mean, I told him that directly. I mean, like I remember when I used to watch a little bit of Ronaldo stuff, and then as soon as I found out he was becoming a sort of a politician, I was like, I don't know about this. This isn't Kef. You know, like him being a council, that's Kef. But as soon as he became like he's member of parliament, I was like, wait, you've turned to the dark side. And the problem is that this is the story that Lord of the Ring taught us, that power corrupts. I mean, you look at John Steenhuisen now, and I'm going like, well, bro, like he is just happy at that, all the ideology that he was spinning, all the things, well, we're going to stop this. And like, we need to like, find an end of B and all this type of horseshit. It just went out the fucking window. I'm getting paid a nice juicy salary now. And I couldn't give a fuck about it anymore. I think, Rib, I think I can hear you. See you talking, but
yeah, can't hear you, Rib. Use sign language.
Such a dick, sure. There, I think the signal's coming a little bit back.
Sorry, can you guys hear me?
Oh, there we can hear you perfectly. There we go.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I think with guys like, I think everyone under Cyril's spell have got used to these words of equality and transformation and blah, 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 blah. And then you have Trump entering the scene and just decimating all of that. All of that bullshit, all of that brainwashing. And he just says, no, this is bullshit. having politicians in your parliament who sing for the killing of people and who talk about these genocidal things, that's unacceptable. And we've all in South Africa become so accustomed to, oh no, we just have a political leader calling for killing us. That's okay. That's no big deal. It's a metaphor. That's bullshit. We've slowly over time, typically on the frog boiling metaphor, we've become so accustomed to this bullshit, and it's actually unacceptable.
No, we have. We've become accustomed to it. It's just because they keep doing it, we need to push back. And now, like, I think this is the first time in like where it's been such a huge amount of people pushing back and just going, no, this is insane. That like there's actually we're seeing a difference now, and the response is insane. This is the thing where you're going to defeat them on pure logic, because you can't defend the undefensible, right? You can't. There's no rational argument for having racist laws to people, the children's children, not even the children's children, to the children of people who look like people from long ago who did bad thing. I mean, that makes no sense. Our justice system doesn't work like that. We don't hold murderers, rapists responsible. We don't hold their children or people of the same race responsible for them doing bad thing. No one in my family is part of that. And if you go like, well, they voted for it or something, I was like, I sure, okay, cool. Then if you want to like hold them responsible, are we going to do the same with you and the ANC? Because then there's 27,000 murders every fucking year that we're going to lay before your feet now. It's insane.
Exactly.
You can't argue like that. You can't rationalize that.
This whole story about farm murders being normal crime. I sent you a tweet about Brazil. If you can find that, I looked into Brazil today. Because Brazil actually is very similar to South Africa in terms of colonialization, crime, demographic situation, inequality. It's very similar.
Oh, got it. This one.
Exactly.
Why does Brazil have farm attacks, torture, and executions? Brazil was colonized for 300 plus years, had African slaves, has poverty, has high inequality. SA 60, Brazil 53, has a diverse population with significant white, mixed, and black groups, also with problems of racial inequality and whites being more educated and earning more. Has a high crime rate, 20 murders per 100,000. That's like half of what South Africa has. South Africa has 41 to 42 a day. 1% of Brazilian landowners own 50% of the land, farmland. But I mean, this is the same thing that's applied with like you can say for England. You're going to go like, well, the majority of farmers are white. I mean, yeah, like it's like it'll just be this demographic of farmers. There are certain people that are like that. Farming is not just. It's not just you just don't become a farmer. It's generational, right? Like, I mean, I remember my little cousin from the age of like 5, he was playing with a tractor, and all he ever talked about being a little farmer. That's his entire spiel was farming.
Exactly. And even if you look at the Dutch now, the Netherlands is one of the top agricultural countries in the world. If you consider how small the Netherlands is and how much they produce and export, it's agriculture. Agriculture is in the blood. But what I would like to understand, the excuses that people have made, including John Steenhuisen and the DA, is that, no, it's normal crime. It's people being in secluded areas. It's bullshit. If you look at Brazil,
it is bullshit.
They've also got inequality. They've also got poverty. They've also got high crime. They've also got farmers that are secluded and far away. They don't have farm murders, torture, family execution. They do not have what we have. So all of those excuses are bullshit.
But I love how the left. I mean, these are the same people. Like, and this is the thing. And again, I think this is a great argument for against it. Where it's always the left going, well, you shouldn't say homophobic things because it leads to hate, and hate leads to discrimination, and then discrimination leads to violence. Okay, but why didn't you apply that again to farm murders? You can see the torture and going, well, and then you'll find that people like Dan going, well, there's just no correlation between singing the song but you have people being tortured on a far worse level than what your average day murders. I mean, like, and the thing is, I think South Africa is a very, very special case, because I remember, when was this? This is like in the 2000s, where we had an issue, like a pandemic of baby grape, and I was going like, this is just beyond the pale. But then we've got the torturous stuff is the stuff you see in horror movies, right? When you hear the stuff that happened to certain people for no apparent reason, why break in? If just shoot the people and take their stuff. Why are you doing that and torturing them? Right? Like somehow we can make the correlation with other things: anti-Semitism, homophobia, xenophobia. Like a guy gets murdered. When was it? 2 years ago, when they had the xenophobic riots, where the one guy was, I think he was necklaced, and they go like, yeah, this is because of, like, we need to stop xenophobic hate. The government came out, a complete campaign over it, right? Does the xenophobia, the violence from xenophobia, come even a fucking close to farm murders and the torture and the violence? Nowhere near. The government made a whole fucking campaign about that. Weird, right?
So that is weird. And on torture, they could say that, the torture is just because they want money and they want you to tell them about where the safes are, blah, blah, blah.
Bro.
Okay. Let's think about that. Why murder babies?
Yeah.
Why murder
What's the baby gonna say?
dogs?
No, dude.
The baby won't say anything, but there are so many cases of babies being murdered, dogs being murdered, like little kids. Why exterminate an entire family? That is not normal crime. It's absolute bullshit.
There's no rational, like, there's no fucking rational argument on earth, right, that could tell me that the person, like, if my wife is being threatened and I have, I don't know, maybe an iPhone, and I'm not telling, if someone breaks in and they put a gun to my wife's head, I'm going, here's the code to my safe, here's all the shit I have, here's all the money, here's my bank account, here's the password and the number. No one. There must be probably in the millionth of a percent of somebody that went like, I won't tell you, and then his child or his wife gets killed, and he's going to instantly give them access to whatever the fuck they want. There's no way that just makes any rational sense that this is for the if you just hurt somebody's child, they're going to go, here's all my stuff, take it. Here's this is my safety, here's my guns, all the shit. There's no way that makes any, like, the argument that they make, well, it's torture. I'm going, bro, no fucking way, man. Just no way.
So let me park this in front of you.
Yeah.
There are cases where they attack a farm and they murder family members in front of each other. So either they hold the man, the husband.
Yeah, I've heard this shit, bro.
Rape and murder the family in front of him, and then murder him, and vice versa. Murder the father in front of the wife and kids. And then you think that seems crazy before you read history about what happened to Retief with Dingaan, where they went to do a peace treaty. They signed a peace treaty, and Dingaan said, okay, leave your weapons outside and we go and have a party to celebrate. And they attack them. After the fur truckers put their weapons down, they held Retief alive to witness the killing of all of his men, including his sons, in front of him, and they killed him last. Why do that? And also, when you think about farm murders and the stories you hear, it's a similar story. It's a similar story of letting someone witness this, of really torturing someone to experience the most horrific things they can experience.
But so just on that, right? I remember the first time I saw Ernst Ritz, right? He did I used to watch this dude on YouTube. This is like 2013 somewhere. A guy called Stefan Molyneux, I think, and somewhere I remember the first time I saw Ernst Ritz was he had an interview with Stefan Molyneux, and he made this point about trying to understand. Like, because they were talking about apartheid and where it came from and why was the need, because obviously the apartheid wasn't implemented by the Afrikaners. It was segregation started by the British. They implemented it. And then the Afrikaners kind of won them out of government because their resources were depleted after World War II and after World War I and all the shit. They couldn't maintain all the colonies and all this type of shit. So the Afrikaners were quite clever. They kind of figured out a way, and within Parliament they kind of took over the government, right? But I think Ernst made an analogy, and he went like, when did this Piet Retief vibe thing happen, Rib? Like, just rough estimate. It was 1860 somewhere, wasn't it? 18.
Yeah, I think somewhere in the 1800s.
Yeah, like it was 1850 or 18 thingy.
Yeah.
Now think about that just in a sort of a practical application, right? So you hear about this story. Hypothetically, you're Afrikaner, and this is the perpetuation of hate, while like the whole argument of the pendulum swinging, right? So imagine you're a little kid and you hear all your friends and family like, oh, the whole bunch of people got murdered by like Dingaan, and they just massacred them, right? And didn't they then afterwards still went and killed a whole bunch of the women and the children and some shit like that?
Exactly on this point, I did a tweet. So I looked at how many people were murdered.
Here we go.
And it equates to 4 to 8% of the entire Voortrekker population was murdered by Dingaan in 1 month, in February 1838, I think.
No, but
if you equate that to today, 4 to 8%, that would be the equivalent of killing 2 to 4 million black people in 1 month.
Yeah, but just think about the practical application, right? So if this happens, I think chat's saying it's around the 1840s. Now, 1840s, say hypothetically you're a kid, right? And 60 years later, 40 years later, now you're a 40-year-old man. The year is now it's 1880, 1890. What do you think happens? They're going to tell their children's children about the story of what the Dingaan, those people did to my people. You're going to go, okay, cool. Well, listen, like, and then when you apply it, and then you get 10 years later, those same people who've now started a government were little kids when they heard the story happen, and their instant reaction is going, okay, cool. Well, the segregation thing isn't that bad because these people massacred our people, right? For no reason. They went to make a peace treaty. And then this happens. This is the same thing. And I mean, I would argue that that's almost the same thing as what's happening now, where you've got like apartheid's happening, going, well, those people, they did a bad thing. But now it's just all it is just the same thing kind of happening over and over and over. Bad thing happened, and the Afrikaners went, listen, we can't trust these people because they massacred us. And then they go, we segregation, and then and they're totally wrong. And then they end up becoming bad because they're taking people's rights away and all this shit. But they did it on the premise, and again, I'm not saying 100% sure, I'm making a hypothetical. They maybe did it on the premise of safety and security, right? And now, then they did it, and then now it's gone back. Now the pendulum has swung all the other way, and they did a bad thing. Now the reaction. Now what's happening is now you're having farm murders. Now the pendulum is going to swing, and in 30 years from now or 50 years from now, we're going to go back the other way. Then it's going to be our children's children are going to go, okay, well, you have this entire black population is now responsible for the decimation of an entire population. They were happy to completely vilify them, sing death songs about them. And like, this is the thing that this is the reason we look at this and going like, we need to somehow stop this shit, because this is what happened with the Nazis, bro. Like, and with the Jews, you're going like, fuck me. You can't just you can't let the pendulum swing back. You're not being any better. And you're going like, well, why do they need to be better? I mean, I wasn't alive, you weren't alive, right? Let's all just get the fuck along to begin with, right? Let's have equality under the law as a starting block, but we can't even fucking have that one.
But the sad thing is, there's a guy called Eric Lowe. I discovered this guy recently, but he lives in Australia now. He used to be a part of the ANC. White guy, used to be in the ANC like in apartheid times.
Yeah.
And he fled from the ANC because he discovered, well, I think he realized what was really going on. And he decided, no, this is a mess. And he moved to Australia. So I've been seeing a few interviews about him.
Yeah.
And he said that the ANC has always been very Marxist.
Yeah,
but they
were trained by
learn
Marxists.
to exactly. The trick is, or the clever thing they did is they changed their messaging, that they told the outside world they're not. They told the outside Western world they're modern, they're about equal rights,
Progressive, equality,
progressive,
transformation.
liberal.
Yeah.
He talks about liberal speak. He says they adopted liberal speak. And he says that Mandela, they knew Mandela as like the really extreme guy, like the violent guy. But he was adopted as kind of the grandfather figure. So he would give this friendly grandfather figure to the world, whilst Mbeki was running the show behind the scenes. And they knew that white people were in control of government functions across the board. So ESCOM, SAPS, everything, all of the SOEs were white controlled. And their initiative was to slowly but surely take over control of these functions. And by the time that Mandela left, which I think was 97, 98, if I remember correctly, he said that the time for reconciliation is over, the time for transformation has arrived.
Yeah.
And then Mbeki came in and kind of threw everything on its head and pushed black people into all of so the time when Mandela took over, they really took an initiative to replace white people in government services, and under Mbeki, they really escalated that. And the thing is, I heard Rob Hershoff talking about Mandela was so great, Mandela was so nice, but the fact is that Mandela was kind of an interim phase. He was there to give a certain image, but what this former ANC guy also says is that the message that the ANC was giving to the world versus what they were giving internally was different. They were telling the world they were liberal, about rights, about equality. Internally, they were telling people we're transforming everything. We're taking from white people, we're capturing everything. And that's what happened. So under Mandela, they did it very slowly.
Yeah.
And they captured key positions, and then under Mbeki they accelerated it. And under Zuma, it was a free for all with the Guptas and with state capture. And under Ramaphosa, geez, it's been chaos.
No, it's been absolutely insane.
Yeah, I think he's confirmed that it's just more of the same, that
it is more of the
they
same.
want to transfer everything to black people from white people.
Yeah. But I mean, the thing is, it's unsustainable, right? Like it's a message that you give out, but like just think about it in a practical sense again. Like there's no way that you could really do that. The only thing, like the land expropriation thing, is like, okay, cool. The only land expropriation you could technically do, right, is people who outright own their farms, right? But the problem is, as soon as you start digging in a little bit deeper, the thing is with most farms, they take a mortgage out on their own farm to go and buy feed and all this shit. If you really had to expropriate farms for null compensation, you would completely uproot the banking system. The country would go bankrupt not just the fact that food would completely get decimated, you would bankrupt the banking system. So I think at the same time, it's like they say these things, but you can't actually apply them. They're going to apply them in small scale. Maybe the only reason I can see them doing it is like going, okay, cool, well, they want to go after factories or farms that are really doing well. But like you would uproot, if you uproot the concept of private property, it's like investment. As soon as you do it, investment's going to go, wait, hold on. Like we're not going to invest in this country. We can't. I can't afford to do that. I mean, there was a great video where this guy goes, he sits with this chick and he goes, I think you shared it a while ago. Where he goes, listen, do you want to move into a country where you can't, where like the government dictates all this stuff and blah, blah, blah. And the chick goes, yeah, well, then you shouldn't come to the country, go to another country. We're going, that's the mentality. That's just it's asinine.
Mm.
I think that was an investment lady, like some kind of head of something that said, yeah, if you don't like our laws, then invest in India or whatever. That's the mentality.
It's insane. At the same time, we're spending what, R1 billion a day just on servicing our debt. I mean, like, I don't know. What do you think? Reb, what do you think the way forward is? It's just like how do we navigate in any way to try and save us from further? It's like, do we need to go like chaos theory where we need like, okay, just let it break. It needs to break before somebody's going to do stuff. We need to let people who are on SASSA grants not have any, like they need to unfortunately go bankrupt. They go, listen, we need to vote for someone else. The system isn't working. Or what's the alternative? How do we change the course?
So first, I need to acknowledge the best comment that I've seen in my life, which is from a summation mark. That's not an epsilon. Maybe that's an epsilon. I don't know. Some Greek mark that said, Reb isn't the voice in my head. He is real.
I saw that.
My schizophrenia is fake.
I'm finding it quickly. I was just find it.
I saw that. It's way back though.
Okay, wait. I'm gonna try and find it.
It's so good though.
That's incredible.
It's from I don't know what the name is, but it's from like a symbol.
Yeah, I know. It's got like just. Oh, there we go.
I'm not sure if that's an epsilon. I think it's an epsilon, as you call it.
Oh, here we go. Found it. Reb isn't the voice in my head. He's real. That's definitely fake. Brilliant.
Thanks, buddy.
I don't even know what epsilon is.
Because
what is it? What is an epsilon?
It's a Greek E.
Okay.
So I studied quite a bit of mathematics, which has a lot of Greek letters that they use in maths.
I think Dachbrecker says, was it? He says, was it Rob Hersov who said he met the guy from the ANC who said, we know Zimbabwe is a disaster, but we are happy to be rid of white people. You need to understand that thinking. That's the issue we have. It's like I think
that was Rob.
That hate is so ingrained. It's going to take a generation to go like, listen, like we need to get out of that kind of thinking because it's not helping. And the only thing I think that helps it helps keep the ANC in power, right? But I think this is the first time in history that in 36 years the ANC went, oh wait, hold on, we need to somehow change tactics because that whole narrative isn't really working because you've got educated people now, you've got the internet, you've got people, and this is the thing. This is like this is the only hope I have. I hope someone who has that mentality or that thinking sees a post from everybody that is in here, like all the people I follow on X, if they see one post and then just challenges their thinking one time, because that's how I went from not really understanding. I saw one thing, watched one thing, and I went, wait, hold on, I need to think about this. And all it took was one thing. It's one, and that's why don't ever stop pushing out, fighting back against this. Put information out there, even if it changes one person's mind. It's going to take some time. But I mean, like, that's just how you do it. Or we should start using propaganda. We start using AI and train it and fight this horse shit.
So I don't mean to be pessimistic, but for every Alfred Carbonena, how many hateful idiotic bastards are out there. It's
true.
I think the amount of based guys who actually understand what's going on versus the amount of people who rather just go to, we're owed all of this, white people are to blame for all of our problems. I think the ratios are an issue.
But
we need to keep fighting, but I think it's a difficult battle, to be honest.
But I think a good thing that does help is like if the middle class, the black middle class, getting bigger and bigger. The thing is this, that as soon, and this is true since the beginning of time, as soon as you start paying taxes, you become a bit more conservative. You're going, okay, wait, hold on. So I'm getting, the government's taking X amount from me to do what with? This is the shit that fucked me off beyond, bro. Like I wanted to almost threw my new phone through the wall when I was listening to your space the other night, where it was, I think Jack, or it was Robert, that brought up the whole vibe of like the amount of money that Cape Town takes in, something like 200 something billion, and they get back something like 3 or 4, and then that same money gets spent, 70% or 80% of it gets spent on the informal settlement. It's like, but how is that fair? How do they keep using these terms like it? You know, it needs to be fair. How the fuck is that fair? I don't understand. Like, is there a different definition of fair where I pay for fucking everything, even though I haven't inherited anything, gotten anything from like supposed like the land that I didn't fucking inherit or some shit? Like, I mean, I'm not that fucking old.
Of course, you've got white privilege, so you need to pay whatever the black population needs has to come from the white population, because their excess is due to white privilege.
But see, and that's the thing. As soon as you start getting a black middle class where they're going like, wait, hold on, Bahamas are fucking paying for this horse shit. I'm not into this shit. I don't want to.
To be honest, look, I know I'm being very negative.
No, you're not being negative. You're being realist, bro. This is reality. We need to face reality.
If we think about our friend Isaac, the advocate, who made all these crazy statements about white people being an abomination and responsible for all crime in South Africa, that's the mentality. So
that is true.
You're white, you're privileged, you owe everyone. The land you have, the property you have is stolen. So it's a different way of thinking, and I think we need to be realistic about that thinking.
But I think it's like the thing is, and I do notice this. When a lot of times in the beginning, I think about like a few months ago, I remember getting like that kind of comment on X. I was like, oh fuck, how do I? I just I can't be a complete dick and go like, well, like, because I could say dick things back, but I used to not, and I'm just going like, well, I'm not. I'm going to start laugh about it, and just actually, the other day someone said to me, well, like some bullshit. We got into some fucking argument. They were like, yeah, like, you white people are pathetic and all this shit. It's like, oh wait, so like, so what? Your people aren't, like, you're like totally wild, like 28% unemployed, 28 million people on unemployment, social welfare, like 28 billion on. You got to start ridiculing these things when like someone lobs an accusation at you, just like, I don't fucking care anymore. I don't care. I can't play with kid gloves on with people that go like, oh, you're like, you just can't. Like, you just laugh at this dumb shit that people accuse you of. You've stolen it. Ha ha ha. What have I stolen? Prove it. Show me the shells.
It's exactly true, because for too long, for 30 years, whenever race issues were brought up, our people ran away. We can't talk about it because we're so guilty and we're so terrified of being called racist. We can't even discuss anything. So we just bent over and let people fuck us on this issue. But it's really time that we have to address this issue and be fair and honest about it.
Yes, bro. Like, you said, like, I am not fucking guilty. I don't feel bad for anything because I didn't fucking do anything, and I won't take fucking the sins of other people who happen to look like me on my shoulders, you can get fucked. Just go fuck yourself. I don't care. I don't fucking care. I don't care. I will not take responsibility for shit I've never done. And to put that on me, go fuck yourself. Then I can blame you. Every time somebody gets murdered by someone who looks like you, then I can do the same thing. I'm not going to fucking do it, but just go just piss off with that absolute insanity.
That awesome! I saw this awesome shirt being advertised. It says white privilege, the ability to suffer with whatever life throws at you without blaming another ethnic group. It's such a nice thing, white privilege.
It is, but the thing, you know what white privilege actually is? It's like it's not privilege, it's sacrifice. And this is true for every single race. It's got nothing to do with race. It's about sacrificing. It's your parents have sacrificed for you, right? And the thing is, the rich people, they made more sacrifices and just longer back, right? They went, okay, cool. They made I'm sacrificing. I'm going to spend all my money instead of going out for beers. I'm going to buy a fuckload of Bitcoin 10 years ago. Maybe my kids are going to call it privilege because dad left them like a whole bunch of Bitcoin. I'm going like, no, well, that's just me. That was me sacrificing, whatever at the time for my children's future. Like also, I'm not going to have 20 kids. I'm going to have 1 or 2, right? And I'm going to try and look after them. That's called sacrifice. It's not fucking privilege. It's like we've swapped ethics and morality. We've swapped it on its fucking head. That's what we've done. White privilege. Piss off.
But if you think about this, like in South Africa, what is the amount of people that drop out of school because of teenage pregnancy?
Yeah,
massive.
No, exactly.
It's especially within the Black community, that's a massive number. Then if you go to how many kids grow up without their natural father in the home,
there we go.
Within the Black community, that's massive. Then how many of them get into gangs as kids? They're being raised by the grandmother. They grow up in gangs. These are massive problems which BE and all these other things don't address. They're not addressing the real problems. They're addressing the outcome of the problems, the cherry on the cake instead of the cake itself. And the problems will never be resolved as long as we don't address the problems.
Yeah, but the thing is, and Reb, you make 100% awesome point. And the thing is that statistic that that is truth, right? Single parent, single motherhood, or like any child with a single parent across every single racial demographic is worse off than children with 2 parents. And again, that gives you a classic example of where it starts. It starts in the home, and that's sacrifice. Like imagine, and this goes the antithesis of what feminism said. Like if I had to have a kid, and me and my wife start hating each other, you know what? We know we would stay together until the kid is out of school because that would be the sacrifice we'd have to make. Feminism tells you the opposite, going, oh well, if your husband, just leave him. Divorce rates up the arse. And why do you think this is happening? It's just happening en masse. And you've got children who come out of a single parent home, raised by their grandmother. I remember as a kid, it was going like, when I was a child, going like, oh, well, if that girl, she doesn't have a daddy, she's going to be a stripper. And look where we are right now. It's just like, that's what fucking happens. And it's not because
it's not stripping, it's OnlyFans.
No, exactly. But if that thing, if that truth is real within the small, intricate niche of the family, right? And if you expand it out, what happens on a mass scale? Like, how many single parents do we have? Are there in South Africa? It's massive, and the government monetizes that. Again, like I said, they've flipped this morality upside down, where it's like they reward people for having children outside of the marriage. Going like, okay, what do you think's going to happen? Like we have 50 years of evidence now to show look, it's not good, guys. It's really not good. It doesn't make anything better.
So I sent you something from Mighty Jamie where he's talking about average income.
Oh yeah.
And I also sent you something about the percentage of people that are skilled. I think those two things really explain the picture.
Share this. There we go. I think it's this one, yeah. This one from Mighty
Breaker
James.
is asking for OnlyFans. I think he wants to see your hair on OnlyFans.
Dachbreker, no. Put the OnlyFans down.
So
no, I think it's when we were talking about when you mentioning stripper. I said OnlyFans. You also said OnlyFans. I think that's what it is. I'm hoping that's what it is.
So this picture is typically what Black South Africans like to share to show how much more white South Africans are earning. Like our average income is much higher, white South Africans versus Black South Africans.
Yeah.
But if you look at the next picture and you consider the skill level, white South Africans are much higher skilled than Black South Africans on average, if you look at the whole population.
And most South Africans, white South Africans, also have come from a two-parent home.
A two-parent home, yes, and they finish school. They don't get pregnant before finishing school. They go to university. They finish university. They get skilled. So the government looks at a high level and says white people are earning more than black people. But you need to consider white people are more skilled and more educated than black people on average. And then you need to consider why is that the case?
Yeah.
It's such a simple conclusion to say that it's a black-white thing. We're discriminated against in the workplace. You're not discriminated against in the workplace. You are failing to reach the same levels, the same qualifications at the workplace.
But also, now just think again. Like, let's take it a step further. It's like you have the government going, okay, cool. Education is the only way out. But I mean, the thing is, like the majority of I know of a lot of white South Africans who do not have, who are not fucking educated. I could not afford, I couldn't go to college or like university after school. I didn't have the marks for it, right? So I was like, okay, cool. Well, that's just out of the question. Like now it's like, okay, cool, you can. And then we're going to give you a loan and you can go study a thing and you can go drop out after a year or two of studying to be a lawyer and then just end up not being that. And then you've got now crushing debt on top of you. I was just going like, well, listen, I don't have the marks. You can't go do it. You're going to have to go do something else. Okay, cool. I'm going to go do something else. Don't get a girl knocked up. These are basically, if you maybe did half of those things, right? You just get those things. Don't have don't try and get knocked up. Do everything you can not to. Wear protection. Don't put yourself into debt for a degree that you don't need. And like, look at a lot of the jobs are like people are doing, and this is the same thing in America. You've got people doing plumbing, building, these things. A lot of these guys are out owning. They're making more money in the States than people who are studying to be, some random like politician. That's like apparently I think that was last year was one of the top things to study for, politics and in this field. And it's just like there isn't enough jobs. Like the government can't afford to pay these people or employ them.
Exactly. And if you then go to a place like America, you would be paid handsomely. You can buy a home. You can be very successful by doing this. No, it's a big problem.
I got a handyman the one time who basically told me that he became a handyman because he was in some corporate job. I can't remember what it was. And like, it ended up, he makes more money doing like handyman jobs because there's just more money in it. There's just people need the people having that kind of skill. They just don't exist anymore. Like an electrician, a plumber, these type of things. I mean, why is fucking Eskom in the issue it is? Because we don't have those people. Because everybody wants to go and study for something that's like, a fucking, a lawyer or a this or a doctor. And then they go, okay, cool. But you're like, now the universities can't deny them because that's discrimination, right? So you rock up and you don't have the marks, and you're going, okay, cool. Well, you know, just pay for the course, and they drop out because they want the money.
So Tuli Maronsela posted something about BE. I can't remember what it was, but I replied that you need to. Why take this weird communist approach? Why not rather implement measures where you invest in the education of Black people, the infrastructure of Black people, the services of Black people? So, you know, clean their sewage systems, help them with transport, all these things over the last 30 years. Instead, you focus on how many board members, you know, is 30% board members Black or not, instead of investing in educating and helping and really uplifting Black people. They've completely neglected poor Black people, and they've helped rich Black people like Ramaphosa become more rich, and
but the thing
blamed
is,
all of it on white people.
Yeah, but I mean, Rip, you raise a real, like a serious issue. Like, just think about Black economic empowerment. What company is going to employ someone that's just because they're Black? It's like, that's never going to happen. It's like, why would you give someone a position who is just out of high school just because they're Black? It's like, you don't want that. It's like, it's not going to happen, right? It's not going to help anybody that's just finished high school. Black economic doesn't help those people. It doesn't make people who are just because they're people going to go, like, companies are still going to employ people who have a skill level, right? Even if Black economic empowerment, it's only helping the rich of the rich. Like, I mean, I'm not going to give, if I'm Standard Bank, right? And I've got, cool, like, they decided now, okay, cool, we need Black economic empowerment. You have to have 51% shares, has to be Black people, right? You're going like, well, I'm not going to give those shares to some random person just out of high school. I'm going to give it to, I don't know, maybe, you know, I'm going to give it to the politician, because then I've got his ear, I've got the government. I'm going to give it into those shares to intellectual, influential people, right? That's why do you think Cyril Ramaphosa sits on the board of sat on the board of like, I don't know, 10 different blue chip companies? Because the government, those corporations are going, okay, cool, well, you know, sure, we'll sell them discounted shares, and at the same time, we get the ear of the government. We can help push our policy. There we go. I mean, this is why NTN is in they were in Iran, one of the second biggest network operator in Iran. Yeah, I don't know.
Exactly.
Okay, but listen, guys, it's getting late. We've almost gone 3 hours. Good Lord.
Yeah.
So maybe I can just add that from a European perspective, France is being ruled over by Macron, barely. It was almost kicked out, but he's barely holding on. Germany, if you move a bit to the right, is now the CDU, the Christian Democratic Union, which is a center-right political party. They've won the election, so France is left. Germany is center-right. Poland, now a 42-year-old boxer has won the election, who's also a guy on the right. So there's a weird
swings.
Yeah, but it's swinging from, if you look at France, left, Germany, center, Poland, right. It's the move across Europe has been to the right. And I think with the recent Poland elections, it's also happening. And Europe is very, very serious about the situation with migration, with fixing it, with controlling it. It's happening.
But that's the thing. You need a balanced society, and if you haven't, like, this is what happened. It went all the way left. What do you think? It's the Merovingian from the Matrix. It's causality. it's just this is how nature works. You push it too far the one side, it's going to come back. And now, because we've had since World War II, leftism up the bumhole all the way, now it's going to go the other way. And this is a lot of the people are saying, like, the generation today are going to be far more right than anybody before, because they're going, okay, wait, this doesn't hold on. South Africa is a bit behind that, you know.
And you're seeing it from the results. The youth,
yeah,
in Europe, the youth is really to the right and supporting right policies. So in many countries, Italy, Poland, Germany, you see the youth voting and supporting the right, and not because they hate immigrants or anything. It's more like, we want our countries to remain what they are. We don't want them to be overtaken by immigrants.
No, of course not, because it's not good for the society. And it's like you know, you have to preserve the culture that's there. I mean, we've seen what happens. It's like you can't have people coming from like a war-torn country like Syria and then injecting them into another country, because it's like it's a complete and utter different culture, and the two cultures just don't work. They don't function together. You need to keep the integrity. And this is the thing. It's like, you know, like every other society, it's completely fine for people to respect and black people are awesome, but you can't say it about any Western country. They're not allowed to be proud of their own people, because that's somehow evil and it's white supremacist. It's just insanity.
Exactly.
Right, I think we can call it there. That was super fun. Rib, you're fucking amazing. Thank you so much for coming to hang out. And if anybody isn't... No, go for it.
That felt very serious and dramatic.
No.
What do you mean?
We didn't have much comedy or fun.
No, but sometimes...
Sorry if that was too dark.
No, dude. We sometimes have to have serious conversations. This is the thing.
Yes,
we have to have serious conversations.
Can we have 9 minutes of fun before we close?
Of course we can. Yeah, let's have 9 minutes. We've got let's do it until we've got 11 minutes left. 3 whole hours. Let's read some of the comments.
No, round it off. Like OCD is going to freak out. Finish exactly at 10. That's why he's saying 9.
Okay.
Reaper's being, he's thinking of that. I like that idea.
He's thinking of you. He's thinking
round it off.
Listen,
there's one video, I hope we can find it, of ladies doing like a lederhosen spanking of each other. I don't know how we will find this.
On YouTube?
It will be on YouTube. Definitely. Try lederhosen spanking.
Roger spanked in Munich. No. Lederhosen spanking. Let me just go ladies later. No, I don't. No, I don't seem to find anything. No, I don't know. I can't find it. Lederhosen spanking. That's some weird stuff you're into there, Rib.
There's a weird dance that they do where they catch each other in like a funny rugby tackle type move, and then they slap each other on the arse.
Oh. Sounds interesting. Yeah, I can't seem to find anything.
Where they do the slap on the ass.
Sounds like midget tossing.
Yeah, on the music tradition, they do it.
Lederhosen spanking. I was Googling weird shit here. It's going to come. No, that's definitely not it. No, I'm just getting weird spank fetish bullshit.
I want to hear one voice. One click.
One click. Oh my god! But like, listen, obviously, yeah, like,
one click. I like that.
If anybody is following Rib, please go to X. In the description below, I've put Rib's in the X link. So please go follow the guy if you're not following Rib. He posts awesome shit. What are you laughing at now, Darth Sean?
I'm laughing at Lindy D's comment.
Yeah, okay. Spent 9 minutes looking for a funny video. Did you find one, Lindy?
That's fucking hilarious.
Yeah, she is. My search history. I actually don't care. Actually, I wouldn't mind it. Oh, you know what? I do have a funny story. So I was playing around with VO3, and I think I'm gonna I want to try and make an ad for Taser Hose.
Yes.
And I'm gonna get some. Darshon came up with an idea of like we should get Taser Hose T-shirts, but I want to make one of those infomercials where it's like like Taser Hose. Just, do you have issues with people breaking into your house and you can't get a gun? Just Taser Hose. Just add electricity to your hose pipe and spray them.
Yeah. Fuck, it's gonna be awesome.
Sorry, with Taser Hose.
Oh, you're breaking up a little bit.
The woman.
Oh, there we go. You're back. Sorry, wait. You broke up there for a second. Say again.
Oh, the good part though.
Relates to the loose woman.
Taser Hose relates to loose women.
So the hose part is loose woman. But now you're saying like hose is like relating to the hose pipe, like
yeah.
Okay.
The hose.
Yeah.
But if you say hose, are you talking about hose pipe or
yes, yeah,
like a hose.
We came up with this. We came up with this idea. It's like, because obviously in South Africa it's difficult to get your hands on a gun, right? So I thought, like, it'd be an easy way to home defense is just to plug a cord, just take a extension cord, plug it into the socket, put it on, before you cut it off, switch it off, cut it off, and just to connect both sides to the front of your hose pipe and just duct tape that, right? And then if somebody wants to break into your house, just turn the plug on and spray them with your Taser hose.
Okay.
That was just like, home defense. I'm doing my part.
It's like hose, like the hoe, like woman hoe.
Well, I mean,
we could with hose.
We could do that too. Like, maybe that's a good way of marketing this. We can just have like these really hot chicks jumping on a trampoline with like a hose pipe that's just got electricity coming out of it. Like, I mean, you have to sell it. I mean, sex sells. I don't care.
And you spray them with the hose.
Spray them with a hose.
Oh god, no, that's going in a whole different thing. I started seeing this weird shit on what is it on Instagram? Fuck, man. And then you go, like, we were talking about this the other day, where you like, there's a video and there's just like this chick, and she's got her new bucky, like, I got this new Jeep, or like whatever, like I've got a new truck, and it's like really awesome. And then you're like, okay, cool, you're checking out, like, you're doom scrolling, and then all of a sudden, just like out of nowhere, it's like in the little side mirror as she's panning, there's titty right there, and you're like, what the fuck? Yeah. And then you like go back to, like, you watch it again, you go, oh my god, it is titty. And they're doing that. And now my entire Instagram, because I shared it with people going like, you're talking shit. I'm going, there's actual like full on hose on, and all of these chicks are just like only OF models who are now trying to market themselves. But now, because I shared it to like a couple of people going, look at this bullshit. Yeah. Now my feed is just nonstop, dude. Ah, shit, rib.
He disappeared.
I disappeared. I can't wait. So Monday we're going to be monetized. Is Rib gone now?
I think so.
Okay. Well, let's call it there, ladies.
Titty or titty?
Yeah, on the titty. On the titty he went. Guys, thank you so much for watching. You guys are all absolutely fantastic. And big up to the tech crew for pulling in and hanging out. Those guys that did hang out. You guys are really, really awesome. Thank you so much. Remember to hit the like, the subscribe. Oh, wait, Ribs. Right. Okay. And Rib, can you hear me? Don't log off yet. If you can hear me, don't log off. I'm just saying bye for people quickly. And I don't want to show people your face, your camera's on.
What a fool.
If you can't hear me, Rib, just stay there 1 second. I'm just saying bye. Guys, thank you so much. Monday night, 8 o'clock, come hang out for the Troll stream, and we'll see you guys again soon. You guys are all awesome. Thank you so much. Cheers.